Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest severe weather live stream. Hope everybody's having a good morning so far. We are starting right off with a confirmed tornado. We have a potential today for a tornado outbreak, and we are likely going to see one, and it's already off to a hot start. It's only 7:40 a.m., and we already have tornadoes happening across Missouri, Oklahoma, and even back over in Texas is where we're watching some storms that are currently rotating. Currently 3 tornado warnings that are in effect all across western Missouri right now. And we do have a confirmed tornado actively near Nevada. So this is, as of the last few minutes, a tornado is in progress. It is going over the south side of Nevada near NASA Junction. It's going to be hitting I-49 here over the next 5 to 10 minutes, going right up Highway 54. If you are in this tornado warning, you need to be in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get to an interior room of your home or building. They have just issued a new tornado warning for this storm for Vernon and St. Clair counties in Missouri. This tornado and this storm is moving northeast at about 70 miles per hour. It is an extremely fast moving supercell that is going to continue to move towards Appleton City and just west of Lowry City. Again, a tornado is confirmed on this right over the town of Nevada here in western Missouri, going to be approaching Walker, Hanley, Harwood, and as well as Shell City. Our debris signature has been pretty significant here just over the last minute or so on the south side of town. So there's almost undoubtedly going to be some damage here in Nevada here in Missouri. Let me double check and see what's actually here. But over the south side of Nevada, we may have just seen tornado damage near the hospital. There's a Nevada Regional Medical Center in addition to the community pharmacy that were possibly just hit by this tornado. And there's also the Ricketts on the south side, which is a gas station. If this tornado is still in progress, which we still have a debris signature on this, it would be hitting the Walmart Supercenter and a few of different hotels that are back over by the interstate here. So again, a tornado's in progress here in western Missouri. It's a supercell that might not look overly organized on radar, but this is unfortunately what I think we are going to be seeing a lot later today across really across the Mississippi River Valley, where we do have a high risk now of severe weather in place. And we are going to talk more about that here in just a moment. But again, tornado in progress, moving in the direction of Lowry City and Appleton. Further to the north, we have a tornado warning just south of Warrensburg. This storm has had some strong rotation at times. We actually did have a tornado on this storm briefly near Urich. But over the last few minutes, rotation's been a little bit broader. That's our main area of circulation, and it's at least been a little bit broader. We might have a new area of rotation trying to develop north of Leeton, so we need to watch that closely. This will be going in the direction of Lamont and as well as Sedalia here in central western Missouri. So make sure that you're staying weather aware if you're in those areas. We also have severe weather happening pretty much all across eastern Oklahoma right now. We got a pretty strong line of thunderstorms that is moving to the east and northeast. We do have a tornado watch in effect for this area. We have had tornadoes in the last couple of hours with this activity, including a tornado on the north side of Tulsa and Owasso. Roof damage, trees and fences were blown down. Tornadic debris signature was on radar. That was just about an hour ago in Owasso, and there was also another report of a roof partially blown off back over in Owasso. And then the last one, another TDS signature. And then power flashes were also reported. So we did have another tornado just off to the north there of Tulsa not too long ago. We also had a tornado west of Bartlesville overnight. And most recently, we just had a tornado over in Ballard in Missouri about 40 minutes ago. And there was a tornado debris signature on that storm not too long ago. Going back to the Nevada tornado warning, we still have a debris signature right now on the east side of town, right over Nevada. Again, this is right now approaching Walker and as well as Hanley. You need to be in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom, away from windows and lowest floor possible if you are currently in this tornado warning. All right, I want to show you guys this. So obviously you might see the title, you might have saw the thumbnail. Yes, we have a high risk of severe weather in place today. This kind of surprised me. I didn't expect this at all with the current trends, but there is a high risk of severe weather in place today. We have a high risk in the Mississippi River Valley. This is not going to really be a threat until this afternoon, so we're not worried about this morning. But this afternoon and evening and even into the overnight hours, we're probably going to have a lot of tornadoes. It looks like a very favorable environment today for strong and long track tornadoes here across the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, Southern Plains, Mississippi River Valley. I do anticipate today to be a very long day. I think we're going to have a bunch of different severe storms. We're probably going to have a lot of tornadoes as well. Our most significant tornado threat will be in southern Indiana, back into eastern Arkansas, in addition to western Kentucky and western Tennessee. But that high risk of severe weather is right there along the Mississippi River Valley. So make sure sure if you have any friends or family out here in any of the risk, make sure that they're aware of this. Feel free to share the stream with them or share the channel. We'll be live most of today with tornado outbreak coverage. I do think that it'll be a very busy afternoon and evening in terms of our tornado risk. It's a good idea as well. If you're in this area, make sure you're ready to go. Have a tornado action plan ready to go, and also have multiple ways to receive warnings. Our tornado risk, again, is going to be driven here right across the Mississippi River Valley. They have issued a 30% chance of tornadoes within a 25-mile radius. Large hatched area as well is in place, which means strong and long track tornadoes are going to be a possibility in this entire region later this afternoon. We also have a chance for significant damaging winds and large hail, but believe it or not, our moderate and high risk is not driven by wind or hail. It's both driven by tornadoes. So definitely a long day ahead here across basically the entire eastern tier of the country.
This is an urgent alert. A tornado is on the ground. Seek shelter immediately.
All right, they have updated the tornado warning. It is still a confirmed tornado heading towards it's going to be right over Walker now. So our tornado is still in progress. You can still see a debris signature approaching Walker in Missouri, moving towards Harwood, Shell City, Rockville, and Appleton will be in the track of this. So you need to be in your safe place during this warning. This is a very messy storm, but we've had a tornado with this for the last several minutes on the east side of Nevada. And it'll be eventually going towards Clinton. The northern tornado warning has been canceled. There's broader rotation now between Clinton and Knob Nonster. So that tornado warning has now been canceled. But we are still watching for 2 areas of rotation. Still very broad. I would say this is going to take a little bit of time for these to really cycle if they're going to try to produce. The southern storm is attempting to do something long-term that's going towards Sedalia. So if you're back over in Sedalia, stay weather aware. This storm's already had a history of producing at least 1 tornado and could try to do that again. Looks like we're getting at least a small area of convergence though approaching Calhoun. Again, it's still a little bit broad though, definitely not a guarantee there. And then right here just south of Knob Nonster, that storm's going to take a bit to produce, but that one's definitely rotating just a little bit. And let's go back down to Oklahoma here. It looks like right now in Oklahoma, we've had a decent amount of rotation along the line of storms here, or really cluster that we've had. I'm not seeing anything in particular at this exact moment that looks like it's about to produce a tornado. Rotation does seem to be a bit more broad on these storms as of right now, but we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that activity. And back over in North Texas, most of these storms are outflow driven, but we do have a couple of strong storms right now right along the Red River Valley that are going to be capable of producing some small hail and gusty winds, perhaps a low tornado risk, but overall not as concerned about that storm right now. All right, let's go back to the confirmed tornado here near Nevada. You can actually see the debris signature from the Kansas City radar site pretty clearly. This tornado is definitely still ongoing, and it's about to hit the town of Walker in Missouri. So this will be going right into the Jeffrey Repair Store. There's also the Walker City Hall. There's a couple of churches in the downtown area of Walker as well. United States Postal Service and the Walker Rural Fire Department. You guys are in the path of a tornado. So you need to be in your storm shelter, basement closet, or bathroom if you are in this tornado warning. Another radar scan here in a second. That tornado is now going to be right over the town of Walker if we still have it. It's going to be right over the town of Walker, now approaching Harwood. And Shell City's next in track of this here in just a moment. Current millibars. If I had to guess, I'm not looking at the data right now, but if I had to guess, our pressure is probably around 985. All right, this is the latest radar scan, and it looks like our tornado now is over the north side of Walker. So it's on the north side of Walker. We'll be approaching Fairhaven. We still definitely have at least some level of a debris signature right now, approaching Fairhaven and Harwood in Missouri. Shell City's next in track of this. There's a little CWA region issue here, but I'm guessing they're going to issue a tornado warning for Rockville here in a minute, assuming that this does stay on the ground. But the rotation's going to be kind of crossing into that other little area here on this tornado warning.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Well, they have issued that new tornado warning that I was just talking about. So that's going to be for Rockville, just south of Pleasant Gap, near Hudson, and west of Appleton City. If you are in this tornado warning, you need to get to your safe place Get away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get to an interior room of your home or building. This is still a dangerous storm. We are at least still seeing a debris signature on radar. We also have some debris fallout from this as well, right over Walker. So there's still debris in the atmosphere. So you don't want to be trying to be outside or, try to even look out your window, because there could literally be flying debris and you might not even realize it. So it's a good idea to just, be in that safe place right now as the storm continues to track in the direction of Highway 13, just west of Lowry City. The latest radar scan, though, is showing at least a weaker debris signature. If not, it's actually kind of fizzling out, but we still have a debris fallout area approaching Harwood and Fairhaven, and that will also be going in the direction of Taborville and Shell City. So continue to stay in your safe place if you're in this warning. I know a lot of you guys are in Missouri this morning, and unfortunately, we've had a little bit of a tornado event here take place overnight and into the early morning hours. And again, we talked about this before I got off air last night. I did think that we're going to see some storms like this, and they've happened. I think the good news right now, though, if you're in like Springfield or Joplin, at least temporarily, there's good news. I don't know if that'll continue, but we've had weaker storms off to your west, but there are a couple that we need to keep an eye on near Miami and I-44. These ones are going to be the ones that actually go towards Joplin and Springfield. Currently, none of these are really rotating, but we've already at least had a tornado north of Tulsa from not too long ago with this activity. The storm that's going to be back over near Wagner might be trying to do something. We might have a little area of convergence developing there. Long term, again, that would be going in the direction of Bentonville and perhaps even Springfield. And then the storms out in front of it are really going to help to kind of weaken this line. So this is going to be kind of some activity that's going to try to weaken this line of thunderstorms, or this broken line of storms that's producing damaging winds and the potential for a tornado or two. We do have... Let me check the other radar site here. Yeah, we do have an area of rotation also approaching Eufaula in Oklahoma. It's a broad area of circulation, but we do have some rotation that's going to be going in the direction of Eufaula, Porham, Warner, and I-40. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that storm. That's one other cell that's rotating. I'm not seeing any rotation right now in southeast Oklahoma, but again, that could always change. And then the Texas stuff right now is pretty minimal in terms of severe weather. Look at all the damage reports, by the way, we had in Kansas City here over the last few hours. We've had a bunch of wind go through here. Sounds like a lot of different damage reports, probably some tree limbs, power lines down and such. More recently, we did have a damage report in Pleasanton, Kansas, of a transformer blowing up and wires down near the trading post in Pleasanton, Kansas. All right, let's check out the latest radar scan. The velocities have come apart quite a bit here over the last few minutes near Shell City and right over Harwood. We have a broader area of circulation right now moving to the northeast. We have a lot of rain cool air out in front of these storms, and that's going to help to stabilize the atmosphere a little bit. Not for everybody, but for some people. So that could kind of weaken the trend here just a little bit. New velocity scan coming in here in just a second. This is the latest scan. So rotation's actually way broader. Doesn't look like we have a tornado anymore. I still think we have debris, though, in the atmosphere, meaning there's still debris being lifted up and kind of thrown around here near Shell City from our previous tornado. If I had to guess, it was probably a strong tornado just based off of the velocities we had, in addition to the debris signature we had on radar as well. This is our environment in Jackson, Mississippi. We just got a weather sounding for later today, or for now. This is right now, but this is gonna be basically our environment later today in Jackson. The wind shear is just off the charts. We have very strong veering winds, very strong wind shear. There's a cap in place right now, but that really won't be an issue later today. So, also, tornado warning was just downgraded to radar indicated here, so it is no longer a confirmed tornado. This is what the future radar looks like here later today. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit. This is what the future radar looks like here for later today. And notice how the line of storms will continue to push in the direction of St. Louis, Illinois, Arkansas, back over into North Texas. We're going to continue to watch for a threat of damaging winds, large hail, and embedded tornadoes in this line of thunderstorms. A little after 2 o'clock this afternoon, we're going to continue to deal with this line that's going to be kind of weaker, I think, by around 2 to 3 o'clock. But by the time we get to 3 o'clock is when I do expect some discrete supercells to fire off out in front of this line. And these ones are going to produce the potential for strong and long track tornadoes. So that is a possibility, even back up into Indiana. We could even have that potential, even though you're not in the higher moderate risk. You could still see a stronger long track tornado. And also there's a few storms here back over in central Indiana that could also be causing problems around 4 to 5 o'clock. By about 6 to 7 o'clock, just look how many storms are rotating. Any oval that you see here is a rotation track that's popping up on radar. That's all rotation. So we have every storm essentially in this line rotating because we have so much wind shear today. It's just such a favorable environment for tornadoes. If for whatever reason we had more discrete supercells, I think this would be just an extreme day of severe weather. But currently we have, again, a high risk. This is the main corridor where we're talking about strong tornadoes, very high winds, a lot of storms near each other. But also keep in mind, look at these little discrete cells. All of these are going to be capable more of our strong and long track tornado potential. And the HRRR is picking up on 4 different ones here around 7 o'clock. A couple there in Tennessee, a couple back up in Ohio. Keep in mind that the position of these could easily be different. They could be further north or south, west, east, that sort of thing. But it's a general idea. And even by 8 to 9 o'clock, we're still dealing with this significant risk for severe weather, including tornadoes. And unfortunately, this thing is not really going to die down much until probably after midnight tonight. So it's expected to be a very long day here today in terms of our severe weather. And once again, if you are just tuning in, we do have a couple tornado warnings here on the same exact storm. This is going to be for those in Appleton City, again, Vernon, Bates, and St. Clair counties in Missouri. Maybe in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom if you're in this warning. Again, we don't think there's a tornado with this anymore, but there is probably still at least some debris that is in the atmosphere that is falling out from the initial tornado that we had. So if you are in this area, continue to stay in your safe place. And as a reminder, again, I know a lot of you guys are just tuning in, and again, I didn't have a video today, so you wouldn't even know. Okay, well, we just got an upgrade. Okay, so just now, they have expanded the high risk for severe weather. So this now goes further south and west. It now includes eastern Arkansas. So the high risk of severe weather is even larger than before. I don't know if I have a picture of the last high risk to compare, but it has expanded further. So the high risk for severe weather has expanded, and again, this is driven by strong and long track tornadoes. So this is going to include more of eastern Arkansas, a very small sliver of northwestern Mississippi, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, and southeast Missouri. And again, both the wind and hail risks are not driving the moderate or high risk. The moderate and high risk are both driven by tornadoes today. But we still do have a significant risk for damaging winds this afternoon and evening, with the potential for damaging winds over 75 to 80 miles per hour in the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and the lower Mississippi River Valley. And then the hail risk is a lot more significant this morning into the afternoon with our initial supercells that develop across the Tennessee Valley, Ohio Valley, and into the southern plains as well. Even North Texas could be dealing with some big hailstorms here as we go throughout the late morning. But again, if you're just tuning in, our high risk of severe weather has grown even further to include eastern Arkansas. So again, very long day ahead. I'm going to go ahead and post that real quick, and then we'll go back to radar. Memphis and Jonesboro being in the high risk today. Some big cities are in play. Yeah, this is not like a low population area that we're talking about. There's plenty of people that live in and around Memphis. It's definitely concerning. And again, this is only we don't get high risks very often, but we've had 2 now this year. You might think they're common, but they're really not. We hardly ever get high risks. I think we probably average like 2 a year. But this is our high risk of severe weather. Cape Girardeau's included in this, Paducah, Kentucky, Mayfield, Kentucky, Union City, Dyersburg, and Memphis, and as well as Paris in Tennessee. All of Branch, Mississippi, Pine Bluff in Arkansas, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Paragould, Kennett, Sykeston, Poplar Bluff. I mean, you guys are all included in a high risk for severe weather today. It's quite the area that we're talking about. There's a lot of people that are in this area too. Just to get an exact number on it, we have about 2.5 million people in the high risk for severe weather today. I don't know how many people were in the high risk in the Dixie Alley. I don't remember, but there's about 2.5 million people in the high risk. We have about 5.5 million in the moderate risk. 41 million in the enhanced risk, and then about 32 million across both the slight and marginal threats, which is where there's a lower risk, generally speaking, of severe weather, even though we've had plenty of severe weather in the slight risk out here this morning across both Oklahoma and Missouri. We definitely need to watch this storm pretty closely. Back over near Eufaula in Oklahoma, we have a pretty decent storm that's developing here just south of Stidham. The velocities have been coming together here over the last several minutes. This is moving towards Chicota and I-40 going towards Warner, Oklahoma. This storm's going to be on track eventually for Stillwell and Tahlequah to the southwest there of Fayetteville. They have issued another severe thunderstorm warning, a long one here, just west of Fort Smith, for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-sized hail. But again, this storm's definitely catching my attention. Definitely has a pretty strong inflow, and we got a little hook echo on this thing. This will definitely be something to watch for as that pushes to the east. Just west of Joplin and Springfield, we got some, again, supercells have developed back off to your west. None of these are really rotating right now in terms of like an imminent tornado risk. We're watching more for a damaging wind risk with this activity. As it continues to move towards Joplin and Springfield, I would stay away from windows if you are in this area. And, you know, just make sure that you're just staying away from windows, being safe as these storms approach. These are all pretty dangerous storms, and they're all moving to the northeast at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. The tornado warning cell that we have is moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. So it's a much faster moving storm here in western Missouri, approaching Appleton City. But the rotation has been broader over the last several minutes. We did have a tornado with this at the beginning of the stream. It has occluded. Again, I'm not seeing any debris signature right now. They have canceled the tornado warning for, I believe it was Bates County, Missouri. They still have the tornado warning in place for Appleton City and Copeland in Ohio and Johnson City, but that might get canceled here soon. We'll see. The latest SPC outlook is using some pretty strong wording for today. Again, we have a high risk of severe weather in place. They have mentioned that multiple EF3 plus tornadoes appear likely in their wording. So this is their wording. A tornado outbreak is expected today and tonight from parts of the lower Mississippi Valley into the Mid-South and lower Ohio Valley. Numerous tornadoes along with multiple EF3 plus tornadoes appear likely. So that is the wording that the Storm Prediction Center is using today. In addition to the tornadoes, we are talking about significant severe wind gusts, very large hail, as also going to be possible from Texas to the Great Lakes. I'm going to have to fix my thumbnail because our high-risk crew. I had to make my thumbnail right before going live here. Thank you, Ryan, for becoming a member. Also, shout out to Sierra for the super chat. You know, the weather just keeps getting worse. I don't know how what other way to put it. I mean, you know, it's not even just today. Like, tomorrow looks like another potential tornado outbreak. They only have a slight risk of severe weather right now, which surprises me. But tomorrow is going to be another day to really watch for. We're probably going to see at least a few tornadoes tomorrow, as long as storms fire near the boundary. This is the main area that I'd be watching for strong tornadoes tomorrow. And then we could be talking about large hail and damaging winds and a couple tornadoes elsewhere. And then on Friday, hopefully we get at least somewhat of a break, but we're going to have another slight risk of severe weather in place from the Ohio Valley back into the southern plains with more damaging winds, large hail, and the potential for tornadoes existing. I think this will be more of an afternoon risk, but it's too early to tell right now. And then Saturday, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather already in place in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. So again, we're going to be live pretty much every day covering these severe weather events. And we have a slight risk also on Sunday in the southeast. But we're going to basically be live every day covering every severe weather event. It won't be all day every day, but we'll be live pretty much every day. So if you are new to the channel, definitely make sure you're subscribed. Latest radar scan on the Appleton storm has actually picked up in intensity. The rotation has strengthened just a little bit now. So we had a little bit of a lull in rotation. It's going to be approaching Copeland over the next 5 minutes, and then Deepwater is in the path of this, just to the northwest of Lowry City. So approaching Highway 13. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning for those in Joplin. Main concern right now is damaging winds around 60 miles per hour. Might have a little bit of rotation trying to develop there near Baxter Springs. We'll have to keep an eye on that. That's going to be moving towards Carthage. So if you're in Joplin, just stay weather aware. Again, main concern should be wind and hail. I think if we had a tornado, it'd probably take at least a little bit of time to happen. Tornado around Owasso, Oklahoma an hour ago. Yeah, we've had some damage reports out of Owasso too. In Owasso, Oklahoma, there were reports of roofing damage just on the north side of Tulsa. Here are our risks so far this year. It's kind of crazy, but we've had more high risks than we've had moderate risks of severe weather for our peak intensity on a given day. Our last high risk again was March 15th, the tornado outbreak in the Dixie Alley. March 14th could have debatably been a high risk as well. I think it should have been, but you know, that's besides the point. Early high risk so far this year was that Saturday, March 15th, and then our most recent one obviously being today, the day after April Fool's. This is obviously not an April Fool's joke if you are wondering. This is real life. We have a high risk of severe weather in place, which is again the highest level risk of severe weather that you can possibly get. After this line of storms that comes through St. Louis, is there anything more behind that? Probably not. No, I think St. Louis, you know, in a few hours, you're going to get some storms, maybe even sooner than that. And then that's really it. That'll be your like round of storms. It'll probably last a couple hours. As these storms move towards the Mississippi River Valley, they are actually going to slow down quite a bit, and they're going to be more focused into this region again. It's a very thin corridor, and one of the reasons why we have a high risk of severe weather isn't necessarily because we expect one storm to produce the potential for tornadoes. Again, it could legitimately be multiple storms that produce tornadoes, or at least try to produce that potential. If you look at the future radar here, you'll notice that these storms are basically going to be all in the same area late this afternoon into the evening, and they're all going to be developing from southwest to northeast. So they're going to kind of like almost overlap each other in that area, which is one of the reasons why there's a high risk. Again, it's not necessarily because we expect multiple discrete supercells there. It's just a lot of storms all in that general area, and with how strong the wind shear is, we do expect the environment to stay favorable for tornadoes. The significant tornado parameter values here, though, today are still relatively high through the afternoon, and then by around 5, 6 o'clock this evening, they also increase once again here, right along where those storms will be in Kentucky, Indiana, Arkansas, back into Louisiana and Tennessee. And we have our latest HRRR model run coming out, so we're just kind of waiting to see what happens there, but yeah. All right, latest radar scan, velocities weakened once again over Copeland. They will probably let this warning expire. And then back over near Sedalia, we do have a small area of convergence, a little area of rotation just off to the west of Sedalia. It's very broad, very weak right now. It's an unwarned storm, but it's still something we're keeping an eye on. This one did produce a tornado about half an hour, 45 minutes ago, so we definitely need to keep an eye on that cell. And we still have some rotation, obviously, on the Appleton storm. It's just been broader here near the surface over the last little while. Okay, we actually have a storm that might get tornado warned here soon. Here's an area of convergence right here. Montevallo going towards El Dorado Springs and Osceola. That one's starting to rotate, so that could become tornadic here soon. And then the storm back over near Joplin, there's some rotation. Again, it's not really strong. There's at least a little bit of rotation. We need to keep an eye on that cell as well. I would expect this one to keep intensifying, though, as it moves towards El Dorado Springs with our environment today. Max is live early. Yeah, I didn't really think we were going live at 8 a.m. today, or 7:30 a.m., but here we are. I mean, you know, it's not April Fool's anymore. April Fool's Day was yesterday, and we kind of had like a cap bust there in Oklahoma, which I guess was a good April Fool's joke, because otherwise we would have had a bunch of strong long track tornadoes out of that activity. All right, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to be the one south of Joplin, 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-sized hail. Also, another one was just issued for Cedar, Vernon, and St. Clair counties in Missouri, which should pop up here in a second. And that's the storm that does have a small mezzo on it near El Dorado Springs. We've got a little area of rotation right now approaching El Dorado Springs, going towards Roscoe and Osceola. So if you are in this tornado or in the severe thunderstorm warning, stay away from windows. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-sized hail are the main concerns as that tracks to the northeast. No problem, Nancy. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you also, Midwest, for the super chat. You're our go-to source for weather information. I appreciate that. Northwest Arkansas outlook. It's mostly wind right now. We have a lot of, again, convection out in front of the line, and really the line of storms is where we have a better shot, or like where the cold front essentially is. This is where we have a better shot for legitimate severe weather in terms of like tornadoes. So this activity is more of just going to be thunder and lightning. There will be some, damaging winds and maybe some isolated large hail, but the tornado risk out of this activity is very low. We're really watching this corridor for a more elevated risk of tornadoes. And currently, back over near Eufaula in Oklahoma, we do have a large area of circulation that we are keeping a very close eye on. It will be approaching Warner and Gore and I-40 here, going towards Vian. I'm going to check back in on this Texas storm real quick. Got some storms approaching the Dallas-Fort Worth area. None of these are severe, more than anything, just downpours. But we do have a storm near Ardmore that is producing some gusty winds and small hail. That'll be moving towards Caddo and Durant. So just keep an eye on that storm. Tornado risk out of that pretty low. And also the rotation has now moved outside of the tornado warning, so we no longer will have this tornado warning here in just a few minutes. They're going to go ahead and let this tornado warning expire or cancel it. The area of rotation is much weaker and broader than before. It is going to be approaching Clinton, so we're going to continue to watch it, but I think the tornado risk on that is much lower. And then Sedalia, we still have some broad rotation, but again, not super concerned about that one right now. All right, we have a new public severe weather outlook for today from the Storm Prediction Center. Once again, we do have a high risk of severe weather in place. This is going to include areas near Cape Girardeau, Jonesboro, Memphis, Tennessee, Pine Bluff, and just outside of Little Rock. The locations, again, eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, southwest Missouri, or southeast Missouri, excuse me, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, northwest Mississippi, and southern Indiana. The wording here is that an outbreak of tornadoes and severe thunderstorms is expected over parts of the Mid-South and the lower Mississippi Valley, in addition to the Ohio River valleys later today and tonight. The hazards include numerous tornadoes. Several intense and long-track tornadoes are likely. And then we also have scattered damaging winds, some hurricane force, and then scattered large hail, and some of that up to baseball-sized hail. So once again, the summary is that we are expecting a tornado outbreak today across the Mississippi River Valley, the lower Ohio Valley, Mid-South, where there will be a potential for numerous tornadoes.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
There will be a potential for numerous... okay, we need to talk about this. We do have a tornado warning for Joplin, Missouri. So Joplin, Missouri, you are inside of a tornado warning. Rotations intensified a lot here over the last few minutes. If you are in this tornado warning, seek shelter. Get away from windows, get on the lowest floor possible, and get to an interior room of your home or building. I think we actually have a storm chaser here, but I got to double check. We do have a storm chaser that's going to be... Ben Williams is in this area, I think. Yeah, okay. He's going to probably go live here shortly. But again, tornado warning for those in Joplin, going towards Carthage, Carytown, Jasper, Webb City, and Avella. You need to be in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom if you are in Joplin. It's a dangerous storm right now that's moving to the northeast. All right. He is going to be live here in a second. I got to fix this. Any friends or family in Joplin, feel free to get the word out there, share the stream. This is, again, a very populated area. Obviously, a history of having big tornadoes in the past. Obviously, we don't think there's a tornado right now, but there could be one at any time approaching Webb City, Carthage, and Carytown. Let me go to the... over here. Let's see if there's any cameras in Joplin. This is inside of Joplin right now. This is a live shot inside of Joplin, Missouri. And we are looking west. And I'm not seeing anything quite yet, but you can see the leading edge of the storm is right here. So this is live right inside of downtown Joplin on the Missouri Dot camera. Let's see if we have any better view of anything there. Rotation currently is centered right over Bell Center in Central City. So it's coming into the west side of Joplin right now. And then after that, it's going to be moving towards Carthage and Webb City. Tornado could drop at any time. You want to be in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom. Again, if you are in this tornado warning, this is not a drill if you are in Joplin. This is another live shot in Joplin near the Office Depot in downtown. And back here is where we'll be looking for a tornado. I don't quite see anything yet. We definitely have at least a shelf cloud rolling in right now. This is moments ago from Ben Williams, who is currently in Joplin, Missouri. As the eerie sounds right now of being in Joplin, the tornado sirens obviously going off. Near one of the, I think that's near the high school. Also, heads up, the tornado warning that was back up near Appleton City, that one's done. So our only tornado warning right now is for Joplin, where we do have a area of strong rotation and convergence right now near Carl Junction approaching Webb City. And this will be tracking towards I-49 over the next few minutes, also approaching Carthage. And you need to be in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom, away from windows, lowest floor possible if you are in this tornado warning. Again, no confirmed tornado as of right now, but we could have one at any time. All right, this is a better shot right now of what's moving in right now to Joplin. If we had a tornado, it might even be rain wrap, but it could be somewhere here on the middle or middle left if we had one. Got a large rain shaft there in the middle coming in. And the camera quality is pretty low. It's a traffic camera. We actually might have a couple of storm chasers on this. We'll have another one. I'm not sure if that right there is possibly a little lowering. The quality isn't great on this camera, so it's hard to tell, but that might be a lowering right there. It's coming down from the cloud just a little bit. That looks pretty suspicious. You're just tuning in. This is right now in downtown Joplin. This is a live shot.
A new tornado warning
All right,
has
we have
been
another
issued.
tornado warning that was just issued. Just quickly going to go to that. This is going to be for those in El Dorado Springs, north of Stockton. Area of rotation is going to be going towards Osceola. We did talk about this just a few minutes ago. Chance for a tornado with that as it approaches Highway 13, so seek shelter if you're in that warning. Get away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. And strongest area of rotation, though, in the Joplin storm is over the north side of town right now, approaching Webb City. This is another view of this tornado warning cell right now. This is, again, another Missouri dot camera. If we had something, it'd probably be buried back in there in the rain shaft. I appreciate that, Razors. Thank you. Stay safe there in Columbus. We'll keep you posted. Appreciate the super chat. There's some lightning back there on the right. I'm not seeing a tornado right now. If we had one, it would be right in this hook echo, right over near Airport Drive. Our strongest area of convergence is just west of Webb City. We do have a little CC drop here, but that's going to be hail. This, again, would be where our tornado is located if we have one. So it's going to be over the north side of Joplin now, approaching Carterville, Carthage, Carytown, Brooklyn Heights, and I-49. That is where this is going right now. They have just updated the tornado warning, so north side of Joplin, you are still included in this tornado warning. Again, this is a live shot of this storm rolling in right now. We're really going to be watching the middle right for a possible tornado here. That might be a lowering right there. It's hard to tell, though, through the rain. That might be a little wall cloud there. I think that's a lowering there on the middle right. It's just kind of wrapped in the rain right now. So yeah, if we have a tornado, it's somewhere here on the right side of your screen. Nothing has officially been confirmed yet from my knowledge. Again, I've not seen any confirmed reports on this. The radar is not confirming anything either yet. But obviously, you want to treat this as if there is a tornado in progress. It's obviously a very dangerous storm. Every storm that we've had so far, even this morning, has been pretty dangerous. The one south of El Dorado Springs, too, could become dangerous at some point, especially with it being more discreet. We actually have two areas of rotation going towards Osceola. Again, this is the Joplin tornado warning, which is becoming a lot more rain-wrapped. You can see all the rain now that's coming out in front of where our hook echo is, which is embedded in the rain right over Webb City. So this is completely becoming rain-wrapped right now, which if we had a tornado, it makes it even a more dangerous environment. So once again, back over on I-44 at mile marker 9 on the Missouri dot camera, looking at this storm currently in Joplin. We have a storm chaser here. Maybe not. All right, we're starting to get a lot more rain around this, so I'm going to see if there's a camera out in front of it. But again, the strongest area of rotation that we have is going to be fully rain-wrapped now, right over the Oro-Nogo area, north of Webb City. This is going to be approaching Carytown, Carthage, and Jasper, Missouri over the next few minutes. And you need to be in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom if you're in this tornado warning. And again, this is for Joplin. Just the north side of Joplin now. You are still included in this tornado warning. Strong area of convergence there just north of Joplin. Quick update, further down to the south, we've been watching a storm that's been rotating back over near Chico, Ta in Oklahoma. That rotation's gotten a little bit broader over the last few minutes, but still a storm we need to keep an eye on as it approaches I-40, Warner, Gore, and Marble City. And then back over in and around Fayetteville and Bentonville, it's mostly just strong storms right now. Our most intense storms are going to be off to the north of Tahlequah, moving in the direction of Bella Vista. If we were to get a tornado, it would be embedded in this activity. So this activity that's out in front is mostly elevated, producing some isolated hail and wind and a lot of lightning. But this is really where our best shot of a tornado would be right near the cold frontal boundary. The rotation on the northern tornado warning approaching Roscoe has really come together here over the last few minutes. The rotation's gotten a lot stronger there, right over the west side there of Roscoe, which is approaching Osceola. We could get a tornado out of that. The rotation on the southern hook here, we have like a little hook echo just south of El Dorado Springs. That rotation's been a little bit weaker, so that one's not as concerning right now. Back to Joplin. And we have an area of convergence over the north side of Webb City. We'll have another radar scan in a second to see if we have anything on the ground. Again, nothing confirmed at this point on this storm. This is going to be approaching Caryville, or Carytown, excuse me, and Carthage over the next few minutes. We got Hunter Hurley, bottom right of your screen. He is storm chasing. I'm pretty sure he's near Joplin. I don't know his exact location because he doesn't have his... Actually, I can check. Double check on that. Hunter is... Okay, Hunter's in Joplin, so we'll quickly go to him. Hunter Hurley is in Joplin, Missouri. This is currently... He's on the east side of Joplin. He's actually in Carthage. So Hunter's in Carthage right now. Once he gets by these trees, we might see something on the left.
North side of Joplin, towards Carthage.
So left side of your screen would be where we're looking. And that's what the storm looks like from a distance right now. This is in Carthage. Okay, we're skipping ahead. All right, this is a much better view of the storm.
Trying to get to an area where we have some adequate clearing, where we can get a full view of this storm. Oh my God! Whoa!
That was kind of crazy.
This thing.
Can't tell. Does Hunter have music on? I gotta make sure he doesn't have music on. I hear something playing in the background. I don't want that to screw up the stream. I'm gonna make sure he turns it off. This is what the storm looks like though right now near Carthage. Again, this is Hunter Hurley on this tornado warning cell. We've had a lot of rain getting out in front of it, which might be choking off the main area of rotation, but if we had a tornado, it'd be embedded somewhere back in the rain. That might be the lowering right there. We're not gonna have his audio on because he has music on right now. I think he lived for the super chat. Back to live radar again. This is what the storm looks like. Our main area of rotation is over the north side of I-49 near Brooklyn Heights. It's again approaching Carytown right now, just north of Carthage. It has become a lot broader over the last few minutes because of all the rain that's out in front of it, but we definitely have an RFD surge, so some strong winds are going to be coming right through the downtown area of Carthage over the next few minutes, approaching I-49. So continue to stay in your safe place. Strong winds are very likely. Yeah, can you turn off your music? Because I can't have your audio on with music on.
Yeah, I just turned it off. Go. Not really seeing anything right now this tornado warning. It's pretty heavily rain wrapped, but I'm just going to continue tracking in northeast on the storm.
Thank you for the update. All right, so that was Hunter.
You got
this is back to Hunter as well.
In the street, y'all.
Oh my God! Lightning!
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Listen.
This is a look in Carthage right now in Missouri on this tornado warning. We just got a new tornado warning for St. Clair County, Missouri. We're going to go to that here in a second. But this is right where our rotation would be. It would be kind of in the leading edge, back in the rain a little bit on the right if we had a tornado.
Heading right to our south.
New tornado warning, bottom right of your screen. Lowry City and Osceola included in that.
That one up there went tornado warning again, all the way up there. Dang.
This storm, by the way, is moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. We had a tornado be on the right, middle right somewhere.
Rotation is pretty weak on radar.
Joplin is no longer included in this tornado warning, only for north side of Carthage and Carytown.
We're just going to continue following it right inside of the notch area. Eventually, I'm going to have to find it.
All right, go back to him in a second. We just got a brand new tornado warning. This can be all the way back up to the north near Roscoe, Osceola, and Lowry City. Main area of rotation is located over the north side of Roscoe, and we'll be approaching Highway 13, so be in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom if you're in this tornado warning. The southern tornado warning has weakened a lot. That was the initial rotation that we had, was on this little hook south of El Dorado Springs, but that is a lot weaker. So I'm not as concerned about that storm. More concerned about the rotation that's located north of Roscoe. It's all rain wrapped right now, so it's going to be hard to see anything. So just stay in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom if you are in the tornado warning. No reason to try to look outside for that. They have condensed the tornado warning a lot, so now it really only includes Roscoe, just northwest of Collins in Missouri. Line of storms is going to be approaching the Neosho area here pretty soon in southwest Missouri. Back off to the west, some strong storms, nothing currently tornadic, but we do have some damaging winds possible with that. We actually have another area of rotation developing right here over the south side of Joplin. So we might get another tornado warning here soon for this right here, heading in the direction of Joplin, Carthage, and Avila. So potentially another threat for a tornado with this cell. That'll be moving in the direction of Carthage. We have another area of rotation just on the backside of the storm. So Joplin, you're not quite done yet. You're in your safe place if you're in this area. This is back to Hunter, who's now inside of the tornado warning cell in Joplin. And obviously raining a lot. Keep bottom right. Lost connection. Be ready to go to your safe place, though. Again, if you're in Joplin, Carthage, we may get a new tornado warning for this area here shortly. There's a new area of rotation developing that is currently moving east-northeast. Okay, we have really strong rotation right now in central Missouri, approaching Columbia. This is near Pilot Grove, a couplet on radar near Pilot Grove. We may have a tornado approaching Boonville. There may be a tornado trying to approach Boonville right now. Velocities are very strong on radar. This is the latest scan, right over the southwest side of Pilot Grove. Don't have a debris signature yet. This is not currently tornado warned, but that velocity signature is very strong right now, approaching Columbia in Missouri. No tornado warning on that, but I think there will probably be one on that here very shortly. We've been watching rotation as well. We're over downtown Joplin. Rotation's not as strong as the initial one we had near Carytown, which that one's been weakening. But there is enough rotation for maybe a tornado warning if it gets like a little bit more intense on our next scan. So be ready to go to your safe place. Again, if you're in Carthage or Fidelity on the east side of Joplin, we're watching the storm very closely. It is going to have a potential to produce a tornado as it moves east-northeast. But honestly, the more concerning storm, I think, right now is the one all the way back up here in central Missouri. This one does not have a tornado warning, but the velocities are very strong. Surprised this does not have a tornado warning. It's going to be approaching Windsor Place and Woolridge here pretty soon. Thank you, Brack, for the super chat. Started following you when I was in Tampa during the hurricanes, moved to Franklin, Tennessee, and I think I'm watching you more now. Appreciate the super chat, and yeah, you probably will be, especially today. You're moving from hurricanes to now tornado outbreaks pretty much.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
All right, they have gone ahead and issued a new tornado warning. This for Howard and Cooper counties in Missouri, which I'm guessing is this warning. And it is very strong rotation right now, moving in the direction of Boonville, Roachport, Wooldridge, Windsor Place. This is eventually going to go towards Columbia. So if you are in this tornado warning, you've got to get to your safe place. We have very strong rotation currently over Pilot Grove, and we may have a tornado at any time. Right over the downtown area of Pilot Grove. There is a couple of cameras. I'm going to see if they have anything. There's a camera inside of the tornado warning. There's one on the southwest side of Boonville. If that one works, then that'll be perfect. This is the latest radar scan. And strongest rotation right now is right over the town of Pilot Grove in Missouri. This might be a tornado over Pilot Grove. We don't have a debris signature right now, but the velocities are very strong. This could be a strong tornado if we have one. So you need to take this seriously here if you're in this warning. This is a camera right now just off to the north of the rotation on I-70. I don't know if we're gonna really see anything here, but if this rotation keeps moving to the north and northeast, we might end up seeing something here. Rain's picking up a little bit as well. Also, this is kind of a crazy view. This is from Falcon Storm Chasing in Whitesboro, Texas. We have a storm there. That's kind of crazy looking. Look at those clouds. It's a little elevated storm there near the Red River Valley. Latest velocity scan now is our rotation on the north side of Pilot Grove, approaching Lamine. We again do not have any debris signature as of right now, so nothing confirmed, but our strongest rotation is over the north side of Pilot Grove, and it will eventually approach the town of Boonville in Missouri. Our southern tornado warnings, let's just check back in on those real quick. Rotation that's north of Carthage, that is much weaker. That tornado warning probably going to be let to expire. At this point, it's more of a wind threat with maybe a little bit of hail as well. Very small hail, though, probably out of that. And then also back over near Joplin, we've had some rotation trying to come together. It's not very strong, but a little area of convergence approaching Atlas, and we'll go towards Knights. Long term, this is kind of on track to stay north of I-44. And then otherwise, I'm not seeing a whole lot of rotation out of the southern storms, but again, if anything changes, we'll definitely go to that. Back over to the north near Osceola, we've had some stronger rotation at times near Osceola, but the velocities have broadened out a little bit on that storm, so not as concerning. Really, the most concerning storm as of right now is the one near Pilot Grove, which, again, the rotation's been very strong here over the last several minutes. If we have a tornado, it will be going basically right up 135 and approaching I-70 over the next few minutes. Again, there's a camera that's going to be potentially in the track of this. I'm just waiting to see if there's anything on it. Okay, we do have a tornado. So there is a tornado in progress on the north side of Pilot Grove. So this is a radar-confirmed tornado on the north side of Pilot Grove, and it will be approaching I-70. So we do have a debris signature. Again, with us being much further away from the radar site, it's sometimes takes a little bit more time to actually see something on radar, and that is definitely a tornado right now that's going to be approaching I-70. This is a dangerous storm currently tracking towards I-70. If you are traveling along I-70, anywhere from about anywhere really from about Columbia, back down just south of Marshall, you're probably going to want to make sure that you're just avoiding this area if you can. because we definitely have a tornado here approaching I-70. Yeah, see what we got here. And it looks like the camera that was in this area, we have another one in Boonville, but there was one camera that looks like it's gone out, so we might have power outages. This is currently approaching, the tornado itself would be approaching 135 Eagle Stop, the Auto Body Experts, Tony's Diesel, Mid-Missouri Thermo King, Fertilizer Dealer Supply, and Boonville Auto Repair, which are right in this area. That's where the tornado would be approaching. No problem, Loretta. I'm glad I can help. I live in Boonville and still no power. Power been out for a while. Yeah, we have a confirmed tornado via radar. They haven't upgraded the warning, but there's a tornado here via radar that has probably just hit the north side of Pilot Grove in Missouri, approaching I-70. Waiting for another radar scan, but that tornado will be right over I-70 here over the next few minutes. I think the camera that was near where this tornado is has fully gone out because of probably the tornado. Here's the latest radar scan. Tornado is now approaching I-70. The debris signature is a little bit smaller, but the tornado will be right over I-70, approaching New Franklin and Boonville. And if this continues to stay on the ground, it will be approaching the Santa Fe Lawns, Stanaway Land Designs, and then eventually Boonville, very populated when it comes to population density here in central Missouri. There's a lot of places there. Once this gets a little bit closer, we'll call some places out, but it would eventually be approaching Hotel Frederick, Maggie's Bar and Grill. Got a supermarket there, the CNR supermarket that might be in the path of this. Walmart Supercenter as well. Days Inn by Wyndham in Boonville. There's also Holiday Inn in Boonville, Pilot Travel Center, the Spirit of 76 Warehouse. Tornado, though, is still going to be right over Lamine now, so that tornado probably has just crossed the interstate. If we still have it, which it might be occluding. The velocities have gotten a little bit weaker here recently.
This is an urgent alert. A tornado is on the ground. Seek shelter immediately.
They've gone ahead and issued a new tornado warning. This is going to be a confirmed tornado warning on the storm we've been talking about for those in Boonville, New Franklin, Windsor Place, Roachport, near Fayette, just west of Harrisburg. If you are in the tornado warning, get to your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get to an interior room of your home or building. Again, this is a confirmed tornado that has moved over Lamine now, and is now approaching the west side of Boonville. Long term, again, Fayette, Harrisburg, and then it'll be staying north of Columbia for that main area of rotation. Currently, I don't think this storm is going to go right towards Columbia, but if you're in Columbia, Missouri, definitely stay weather aware. We do have a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. If you're watching from Ohio or Indiana or Michigan, marginal hail threat will persist through the morning. We got some elevated storms up here, so really not expecting much other than just a little bit of hail. Latest radar scan still showing a tornado over Lamine. What should Michigan worry about? Michigan's going to be later today. Mainly a wind threat and hail threat. I don't expect much of a tornado risk up there. No problem, Yeast. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, let me see. Once again, there's a camera in Boonville. I just, for some reason, it's not loading. I'm pretty sure that power got knocked out here near I-70 because there are 4 cameras that were right here along the stretch and they're all out, but there are other ones in other areas that are out, so there might be power outages out of this tornado. I have tornado pics from my hometown. Where do I send them that you want to see? If you guys have any photos of anything, you can have me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. You can also send it in to us on Facebook. Those are like the 2 best ways to do it. Thank you, Tina, also for becoming a member. Okay, I'm not seeing a clear debris signature anymore. We have a CC drop here, which that might just be debris fallout from our previous tornado over Lamine. That's going to be approaching again New Franklin and Boonville, but I think that's just debris fallout at this point. The velocities have become a lot broader over the last few minutes, and if we did have a tornado, it would be approaching the west side of Boonville, but it does not look as convincing at this point as a tornado. Also, it says we're down to 2 tornado warnings, I think. They probably just canceled. Yeah, they just canceled that tornado warning. We still have a tornado warning for 15 more minutes, but this one will probably be canceled as well. Back over near Lowry City. A broad area of circulation is approaching Warsaw, but that's a lot broader than before. Not nearly as concerning. Also, a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, large area for Springfield, Monette, Republic, Ash Grove, Stockton, Bolivar. You're included in this tornado warning. And seek shelter, get away from windows, lowest floor possible. I did not mean to click that. Interior room of your home or building if you are anywhere in this severe thunderstorm warning. As damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, quarter-sized hail is possible. They did keep a tornado possible label on this, so there's still a chance that we get a tornado on this storm as it continues to move east. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this storm's been occluding here for a while. The velocities are a lot weaker. Again, we had a very strong couplet, possibly even a strong tornado there near Pilot Grove. That was when it was the strongest, but it turned to the left and it's really occluded over the last several minutes. And we've seen this a lot so far this morning. A lot of our tornadoes have taken a similar path like that. So I'm not as concerned right now about this storm, but we're going to continue to watch it in case it does do something funky. And then further south, we've again not really seen a whole lot of rotation with our other storms recently. It's mostly just been damaging winds. Obviously, if that changes, we'll definitely let you know. And as a reminder, if you are just tuning in, again, we do have a high risk of severe weather that's in place today. We have a high risk of severe weather in place. Okay, well, we just got a new tornado warning. And for some reason, my software is broken. We just got a new tornado warning, though. That's going to be for Golden City, Arcola, and going towards Umberview Heights. So if you are in this tornado warning, seek shelter immediately. Get away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get to an interior room of your home or building.
A new tornado
warning.
warning
The northern
has been
tornado
issued.
warning was just downgraded. It is back to radar indicated. I'm going to turn off all the sound effects because it's going to have to go back through the warnings. Oh, never mind. All right. Main area of rotation is over Golden City. Again, a little area of convergence right now. This storm could organize really quickly. It's starting to get that look to it. It's probably going to undergo tornado genesis. So there's a pretty good chance that this will produce a tornado as it moves in the direction of the north side of Greenfield, going towards Arcola and Umberview Heights. So please be in your safe place if you are in that warning. Looks like we even have a little area of rotation near Mount Vernon right now on a little cell there. We'll have to watch that one. That's not really as favorable, though, for tornadoes. The northern tornado warning in Boonville, this one was downgraded to radar indicated, so we no longer have a confirmed tornado here. It's going to be moving again on the north side of Boonville, going to a bit more rural areas here in central Missouri, approaching Harrisburg and Fayette. And that's moving northeast right now. The tornado warning back over near Warsaw, that one's probably going to be, again, canceled here shortly. All right, as I was saying, we have a high risk of severe weather in place today. This has expanded further than our last outlook, which is about an hour, or our last outlook from this morning. So this is the latest outlook as of an hour ago. They have expanded the high risk for severe weather today to include eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, northwest Mississippi, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, and southeastern Missouri near Cape Girardeau, Sikeston, Paducah, Murray, Union City, Dyersburg, Memphis, South Haven, Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, just to the east there of Little Rock, where we are expecting a tornado outbreak. The Storm Prediction Center has warned that multiple strong and long-track tornadoes are likely. We could see multiple EF3 tornadoes out of this event today. So this is going to be, again, a very significant day, I think, when it comes to tornadoes and really everything. We're going to have a lot of large hail, a lot of damaging winds, and then probably a bunch of tornado warnings here. The main concern is obviously later this afternoon, but so far this morning, we've already had some crazy stuff happening out here. We already have 3 tornado warnings and plenty more to come, obviously. We've had a bunch, even overnight last night into this morning. But our greatest risk, believe it or not, is not now. It's still well away from now. It's like mid-late afternoon and early evening. So make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts, have a tornado action plan ready to go, and also make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll be live most of today covering this entire event. Also, we just got a new tornado watch. So if you're in St. Louis, Columbia, Centralia, Fort Leonard Wood, back over in Russellville, Little Rock, Malvern, or Harrison, you are all included in a brand new tornado watch. This goes until 4 p.m. Central Time. A few tornadoes are likely. Scattered ping pong ball sized hail and scattered damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour are also likely. Also, this includes a population of about 5 million people. Unfortunately, school is in session today, and there are 1,800 schools in that tornado watch. And again, think about a tornado watch as tacos, right? A tornado watch means that we have ingredients for tornadoes. But a tornado warning is that basically means we have tacos happening right now. We have a tornado that's essentially happening or about to happen. So again, tornado watch just means the ingredients are there. Does not necessarily mean you have to seek shelter right now. But you just want to be on alert, have ways to receive alerts, and definitely stay weather aware. Still watching the storm closely near Lockwood, Missouri. Rotations attempting to come together still. We also have a little area of circulation east of Carthage that is attempting to come together. Another little area of rotation along this line of storms, or broken line of storms. Back over in Oklahoma. Again, I'm not really seeing much down in Oklahoma right now. Just a lot of wind and hail, not really much of a tornado threat. The tornado warning for those in St. Clair County, if you're in this warning, you can get out of your safe place. Rotations now outside of your tornado warning. That tornado warning will probably be canceled here in a moment anyway. We do need to keep an eye on this right here. This is something that showed on the computer models a lot last night, and even really all day yesterday. This line of storms could definitely produce some sort of tornado threat in the long term. Main concern is damaging winds. They do have a tornado possible label on this activity. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Again, it's going to be going in the direction of Springfield. The ingredients are there for a tornado risk with this. This is our... I'm going to show you guys the significant tornado parameter values here. And generally speaking, as this line of storms continues to move east and northeast, you can see how the ingredients become more favorable. So basically anywhere in this area, that's our large warm sector. And this is all of our like wind shear, instability, moisture, all that stuff combined. We got a lot of that as we go into the late morning and early afternoon across that northern side of storms, including this line. So as it moves into that environment more, and as the environment becomes a lot more favorable, we actually could see a tornado risk come out of that. So we're gonna have to watch that little line of storms closely. right now across like western Missouri and Arkansas, I mean, our environment's already favorable for tornadoes. The only problem that we're having with our current storms is that we have some rain cool air out in front of the storms, basically that line of like that cluster of storms that's out in front of the line near the cold frontal boundary, and that's going to kind of prevent some of the tornado risk, even though the ingredients are very favorable. So these storms off to the north right now have been in a much more favorable position where, again, it's a large warm sector. We haven't really had a whole lot of convection out in front of those storms, so that hasn't been nearly as concerning. Or this has been more concerning, but down here to the south, we just had a lot of convection. You can see it out in front of the storms too, like all this like rain cool air right here. That's just elevated convection that's really going to kind of mess up our ingredients and our overall structure of a lot of these storms. It doesn't completely limit the severe weather risk because we still have damaging winds and hail, but generally speaking, the tornado risk here is obviously lower right now. Also, we do have a little area of broad rotation right now south of Tahlequah in Oklahoma. We'll keep an eye on that area of storms. Rotation's definitely trying to come together right now northeast of Golden City. This is off to the northwest of Springfield. Still have a strong inflow going to the storm. Little hook as well it's trying to form. Going towards Fairplay, Bolivar, and Humansville. You check on Joplin, Missouri. Joplin's probably done. The storms have now moved to your east, so I'm not too concerned about Joplin anymore. Just maybe another elevated storm behind, but that won't be anything severe. Here's that new tornado watch that was issued. Again, anywhere in the pink, you are in a tornado watch. So again, pretty large area now. All the St. Louis suburbs and the metro and all the way back through Little Rock, you are in that tornado watch until 4 p.m. Central Time. Keep in mind that our greatest threat for tornadoes today is not even like anytime soon. We are probably about, I'd say, 9 hours or 8 hours away from us really getting close to the peak of tornadoes today, which is really crazy to think. It is a very long day ahead. Hey, Brandon for the super chat. How's Western Ohio looking for tonight? It'll be mostly wind. One thing I do want to point out is, let me show you guys the future radar here. One thing I do want to point out is that later today, we are going to probably see at least a couple of discrete cells try to fire off in front of this line of storm. So this is right around 7 o'clock tonight. We got a elongated area of thunderstorm activity, and we also got the potential for strong and long track tornadoes essentially in this entire region here in eastern Arkansas and western Tennessee. But we could end up seeing a couple of discrete cells fire off during the mid to late afternoon and early evening. This HRRR model run doesn't really show that. So if we go back like one run, we'll have to go back to the last one. But there's a possibility that this happens where we actually get a couple of cells that fire off around 4 or 5 o'clock in Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. And those could be discrete and produce the potential for strong tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. So this is a conditional threat. This is not guaranteed, but this is a possible thing that could happen later today, mainly during the late afternoon and early evening. And then this right here is where all of our elevated threat for strong and long track tornadoes would end up basically residing today. But I honestly think our worst threat for tornadoes will be in this area right here. I think the high risk is a little too far to the north, but I really think southern and eastern Arkansas, I think that's going to be the area that actually, you know, has a very significant threat for severe weather. All right, should have a new radar scan here in just a second. This is a tornado warning currently south of El Dorado Springs, off to the north of Springfield. The supercell does have the capability of producing a tornado long term. Again, we are starting to see a inflow really cut out here in front of the storm. Got a hook as well. Velocities are coming together just a little bit now. Little area of convergence, but not a guarantee it's going to happen. We have a little bit of convection out in front of it, so it might struggle a little bit. And we still have a tornado warning northwest of Columbia in Missouri. That rotation has been broader here over the last few minutes. We did have a tornado with this about 25-30 minutes ago back over near Pilot Grove. I don't think we've had any official damage reports quite yet, but whenever we get any, we'll definitely let you know. Unfortunately, I do think we're going to get some out of that storm in Pilot Grove. We did have a pretty decent debris signature on that storm earlier. What time or should Clarksville, Tennessee see storms, and is there a high chance of tornadoes? I wouldn't say there's a high chance of tornadoes in Clarksville, but I do think it's more elevated even over near Clarksville. I'll do a quick little general timing guide, and I'll give you the hour-by-hour rundown. So this is, again, right around... Let's go ahead and go to about lunchtime today. So this is about 3 hours from now right here. So again, storms will be ongoing near Chicago. These will be mostly elevated. Our more significant threat for severe weather will continue from northeast Texas back into western Illinois, with damaging winds, large hail, and even a couple of tornadoes still continuing to be possible. By the early afternoon, so right around 2 to 3 o'clock, storms will start to organize more across northeast Texas, Arkansas, and Missouri, with again strong tornadoes being a possibility with any storms that are able to stay discrete essentially, or even semi-discrete, with a lot of wind shear as well. We have so much wind shear in today's environment, it will not be hard for storms to produce tornadoes, even if they are, mingled here in a line of thunderstorms. By 5 o'clock or so, storms are stretching from about Indianapolis back through Little Rock. Notice that the orientation of these is mostly southwest to northeast. So these storms could actually train here today, which means that we could also see a significant flooding threat come out of these storms, especially down near the Mississippi River Valley. By 6 to 7 o'clock, these storms are going right through Fort Wayne in Indianapolis and also in northwest Ohio, and then storms are knocking on your neck of the woods, or knocking on your doorstep if you're back over in southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, or even back over near Paris or Dyersburg there in northwest Tennessee. And then this again will be probably the more favorable environment for strong and long track tornadoes south and east there of Little Rock right around 7 to 8 o'clock this evening. By around 8 to 9 o'clock, these storms continue to track east, with our line of thunderstorms becoming very organized, significant threat for damaging winds, large hail, and strong tornadoes being possible embedded in this line of thunderstorms, moving towards Louisville, Cincinnati, Bellefontaine, and eventually Columbus, just outside of Cleveland. This is 10 to 11 o'clock, so the storms will still be going. We'll still have some hailstorms and maybe an isolated tornado threat after 10 from Texas back to Pine Bluff. And then the line of storms will continue to pose a threat for significant damaging winds and also the potential for a few tornadoes as it approaches Nashville. Weakening line of storms back up in Ohio near Cleveland, and as well as Columbus and Maysville, approaching Charleston. That'll also be approaching Pittsburgh. And then into the overnight hours, we will continue to see at least some severe weather, including damaging winds and isolated tornadoes in Tennessee and Kentucky. Unfortunately, it's going to potentially be a nocturnal threat for some of these areas, but there really isn't much we can do about that. That's just going to be happening. So, but the other thing is too, these storms will be training as well. So you can see how they're all kind of overlapping, moving, west, southwest to east, northeast. This is also going to lead to the potential for significant flooding. And then by tomorrow, we are talking about another threat for significant severe weather, including the threat for strong tornadoes back over in Arkansas and even parts of Tennessee and northern Mississippi. So a long period of weather's ahead. Again, we got a severe weather risk every single day, pretty much for the next 5 days, I think. We have a risk of severe weather all the way through Sunday.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
It is a long stretch of weather ahead. We do have a brand new tornado warning for Cooper and Pettis counties in Missouri, which is going to be just to the north of Sedalia. So brand new tornado warning just to the northeast of Sedalia, going towards Pilot Grove and Boonville. This is almost the same area that we just had a tornado in. It literally is. Pilot Grove just saw a tornado like not even 20 minutes ago. Maybe 30 minutes ago. And now we have another one that might be trying to develop just back off to your west. So you need to be in your safe place if you're in this tornado warning. Little couplet right now just north of Sedalia. We'll have another radar scan here in a second. Could have a tornado at any time on this storm. Keep in mind that, again, storms like this are hard to see on radar. That's much further away from the radar site, but we should get a pretty good idea of if there's a tornado on this here in a moment, if we do have one. Thank you, Monica, for becoming a member. Thank you, Anthony, for the super chat. Should I be worried in Willard, Missouri? I don't think anybody needs to be worried today. I just think you need to make sure that you're weather aware, have ways to receive warnings. Keep in mind that your odds of seeing a tornado today, even if you're, I mean, in the high risk, it's a little bit different, but like in general, your odds are usually pretty low for seeing tornadoes. This is our high risk right now of severe weather that's in place. I really think this is a much more concerning region, just purely due to the fact that we're going to have so many storms in this area. And there's a pretty good chance that we'll have at least a few strong and long track tornadoes. And keep in mind as well that the Storm Prediction Center mentioned that we could have multiple EF3 plus tornadoes. So in my opinion, this is just the corridor that you need to be locked in. Like, you need to make sure that you have ways to receive warnings. Tell your friends and family that, you know, they need to be weather aware too, because some people don't pay attention to the weather. And, you know, if any friends or family are in this area that you have that are not paying attention to weather, well, today's probably the day that they want to pay attention. And really anywhere across this entire risk, I think you should be paying attention to the weather very closely today. And also, if you're in a mobile home or a trailer park or an RV, it's a good idea to have a sturdy structure in mind where you're going to go if there is a tornado warning, or just get there before, you know, ahead of time. You know, if you have a friend or family that is in, you know, a two-story building and has a basement or a storm shelter, just say, hey, can I be there for the day or whatever? And I mean, that's probably a good idea, because I mean, you don't have to be there all day, but like, you know, mid, late afternoon, evening hours in the high risk is really the peak of the threat. And I would say that for anywhere. Like, if you're even in the slight risk, it's a good idea to at least have an idea of where you're going to be going if you're in a mobile home or a trailer park or something along those lines, or an RV park or a campground. People do camp too. Damage to homes and businesses near Nevada, Missouri. That's a report that I'm seeing in chat. I haven't seen any brand new damage reports come out, but let me look at the SPC and see if we have any new reports coming out. The tornado warning south of Stockton, the velocities have been a little bit weaker on this over the last few minutes. Not as concerned about this storm right now. We have, again, a large updraft that developed out in front of it. Rain, cool air kind of choking off the rotation here north of Greenfield. Moving towards Fairplay, Humansville, and Bolivar. But rotation's been a little bit broader. Our main concern right now is the storm west of Columbia, and we're still watching all the other cells that could be, you know, that are back down to the south. A lot of storms currently rotating. This is probably the main one, though. Will I be live later today for Louisiana? I will be live later today. We'll be live almost all day today. There might be like an hour break if the weather quiets down, because I'm going to have to eat something for 12 plus hour coverage. But if not, we might just be live for like 16 plus hours today. I got fast moving clouds out here in Edgerton, in Wisconsin. They're blazing right now. That's what happens when you have strong low-level winds. The winds are very strong. This is what our low-level jet looks like right now. And yeah, I mean, the 80, 90 knot winds in the low levels. That's gonna push. You know, if there's planes flying today, they're gonna have some problems with how strong the winds are. A lot of turbulence for sure today. This entire area, we have a very strong jet stream, and then we have a little jet streak back over in Iowa. But this is an area that if you have a plane that's flying from, let's say, Louisiana to like Montana for some reason, like there's gonna be a lot of turbulence. Got crazy left to right wind there if you're on that direction. But if you're going from California to like Boston, you're gonna have a great flight because you can just ride along the jet stream. And then you might run into some turbulence, but... Alright, latest radar scan. We still have a little couplet there west of Pilot Grove. It's going to be approaching Shackleford Crossing. Lamine and I-70 are eventually in the path of this. There's, again, a little area of rotation there. It's been very small, pretty weak. I'm not as concerned about this storm as the one that we had previously near Pilot Grove that produced a tornado. Continue to stay weather aware and stay away from windows if you're in this warning. If you guys are wondering about timing, we just went over it like not even 10 minutes ago. You can just scroll back in the stream a little bit. Went over the timing for everybody. Why is the Columbia radar site offline? This one's never usually online. I don't know the last time that radar site was actually online, but it's not like this radar site is not it's not like a radar site that really, I'm pretty sure it's just like a terminal radar site or something like that. It's not like one of the like regional ones that we have. These ones cover a much larger area. That one's a very small area from what I remember. I've only ever used that Columbia radar site like a couple times. I don't usually use it. No class today? No class today. I mean, most of my classes were canceled today anyway, but literally had no option. I really was surprised with the high risk today. Like, I'm not surprised because the environment's really favorable, but I was surprised we got one. Like, I didn't think they were going to issue a high risk for today. Do have a new severe thunderstorm warning in Illinois. That's going to be north of St. Louis. This is for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. There's also a tornado possible label on this. Moving into Illinois. This is currently in Pike County, Missouri, but it will move into Illinois here momentarily. Pittsfield, Whitehall are in the path of this, just to the south of Barrie. You got as much sleep as I did on my way to Minnesota to Michigan, going through Chicago. I'll be in Chicago around 4 p.m. Well, stay safe driving out there. Appreciate the super chat. We also just got a new severe thunderstorm warning over in Ohio for quarter-sized hail. The storms in Ohio right now, these are not really that concerning when it comes to, again, tornadoes or anything like that. These are all just all elevated hailstorms. As the warm sector grows later today and all the moisture starts to surge north, the tornado threat will definitely increase. But this storm's for quarter-sized hail, good amount of lightning as well. By the way, this storm right now, believe it or not, is moving northeast at 80 miles per hour. You can see it right here on the warning too. Northeast at 80 miles per hour. This is a storm that is ripping to the northeast. And the storm that's over here north of St. Louis is moving east-northeast at 80 miles per hour as well. So they're both really moving fast. Tornado warning was updated for Cooper County, Missouri, has been condensed. Our tornado warning for Cedar and Dade counties in Missouri was canceled. So our only tornado warning currently is for Pilot Grove near I-70. We'll be going towards Boonville. Again, the rotations become broader over the last few minutes. Just continue to stay in your safe place in case we get another tornado there. Even if we don't have a tornado, damaging winds and a little bit of hail is possible. We do need to watch these storms that are west of Springfield. We might get we're starting to get at least a little bit of rotation on these cells. And for the velocities to update here, but there's definitely something trying to develop here. Many schools in central Arkansas are dismissing early today. My kids are going out at 1 p.m. I'm honestly not surprised because I think it's justified just as a precaution. I don't think it's worth risking your kids being out of school or, you know, being on a bus, for example, at like 4 p.m. and all of a sudden there's a tornado warning and like there's a tornado actively and your kids are on a school bus. Like that would be like the worst case scenario. So I think it's a good thing in my opinion. You usually don't see like early releases that often for like severe weather, but they do actually happen more often than not. In the southern plains. I remember when I lived in Texas, it happened a few times. There were a few times where I got let out early for severe weather, and they weren't even, it wasn't like high risks or anything like that. It was just like, you know, enhanced risk type days when we, you know, knew there would be storms around like 4 or 5 o'clock. It's just dangerous. I mean, buses are not really good for high winds. It's basically like a semi truck. They're not that different. Yeah, we need to watch these storms going towards Springfield closely. A little bit of rotation to the southeast in the Neo show. Back over in Oklahoma, I'm not seeing anything right now that looks concerning. All strong storms. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings as of right now. We also got some strong storms moving into Dallas-Fort Worth. Mostly just going to be some gusty winds. I work in Columbia, and these storms are toying with my emotions. Well, I mean, I don't think we're going to get too much in Columbia. We just need to watch that storm west of Boonville. But right now, there's a pretty good amount of clearing here that's south of that tornado-warned cell. We don't have really much here. If there were anything to produce, like if we got another tornado threat out of a storm here near Columbia, we'd have to watch this one near Warsaw. That'd be the main area. But again, we've had a lot of convection out in front of these storms. So the tornado threat, generally speaking, is going to be a lot more on the low side of things just due to all the convection that we have out in front of it. It's essentially providing rain, cool air. That's going to hinder its development a little bit. I think the two most concerning areas right now are Springfield and then this storm that's moving into Illinois right now. There is, again, a tornado possible label on this cell, with damaging winds as well being a concern. Going towards Pittsfield and Whitehall. When is the main event? From like 4 p.m. probably until about 1 a.m. So that's like the main event today. How bad is it supposed to get in Michigan? I think it'll be mostly wind in Michigan. Low tornado risk. Thank you, Amanda, for the super chat. My kiddos are out for the day. The street, their school is on, so a decent amount of damage from this morning storms in Oklahoma. Yeah, we had some pretty significant storms this morning in Oklahoma. And we talked about this at the end of last night's live stream, but we did have a few... we had a tornado confirmed even this morning on the north side of Tulsa. We had some large hail as well. Some golf ball sized hail last night near Norman, Oklahoma City. And then a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust as well in Moore. Quarter-sized hail in Ada, Oklahoma. But really, the more significant damage was with this tornado north of Tulsa. We had some roofs ripped off buildings, from what I've heard. And we also had a tornado off to the west of Bartlesville. There was a debris signature by radar, so nothing confirmed damage-wise yet, I don't think, from what we've seen. But and also, there was a large tree uprooted onto a house in Tyro, Kansas at 5:55 a.m. Hopefully, everybody's all right there. All right, let's answer some questions. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. Thank you, Maggie, for the 5 gifted memberships. Again, my personal opinion on today is I do think it's going to be crazy. Like, I just don't see today not being a tornado outbreak with the environment that we have. Again, the winds are very strong in the low levels. We have very strong veering winds. Essentially, any storm in today's environment that is discrete is going to be capable of producing tornadoes. This right here is our significant tornado parameter values for today. And notice how the values are pretty close to being... they're not maxed out by any means. Like last night, we had maxed out tornado parameter values in Oklahoma. But like today, even, we still have very high values. Like anything above 2 or 3 is usually favorable for tornadoes. And we have values ranging from 5, 6, and 7 across a very large area. This includes Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Southern Illinois, Mississippi, Arkansas. I mean, it includes a bunch of areas. And this is, by the way, at 7 p.m. tonight. But even before that, we still have a pretty favorable environment a little bit after lunchtime across Illinois and Indiana. And also in Arkansas. So, I mean, there could still be tornadoes before our peak threat, which is mid to late afternoon, early evening. But, again, the environment is extremely favorable for tornadoes. And we're going to do this all again probably tomorrow, by the way. Like, this isn't just going to be today. It won't be at the same level tomorrow, but we do have another risk for tornadoes tomorrow. Mainly in the... let me pull it up here. For tomorrow, our risk of severe weather it's pretty large. Stretches from North Texas all the way back into the mid-Atlantic. But our tornado risk for tomorrow is a 5%, which includes Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. I wouldn't be surprised if they add a 10% hatched risk in this area here. We definitely could see a couple of strong tornadoes tomorrow afternoon and evening. So we have 2 big days of severe weather ahead, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we got even more severe weather ahead. I'll just briefly show you every day after this. Friday, another risk of severe weather. Saturday, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather in place in the lower Mississippi River Valley. And then Sunday, yet again, another risk in the southeast. Very busy stretch of weathers ahead. Thank you, Eagle and Nicole, for becoming members. Yeah, it's going to be a long few days. It is going to be a long few days. There's really no other way to put it. This is probably the busiest week of weather that we've had since last April. So, gives you an idea of the magnitude of the next 5 days or so in the United States. And even the last few days have been busy too. Like, this is starting from last Sunday going all the way through this upcoming Sunday. It's probably the busiest stretch of weather that we've had in about a year. Will I be live at 10 o'clock tonight? I will be live. Yeah, I don't know why I wouldn't be live still at 10. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this particular live stream will go all the way until 10, but we will be live at 10 for sure. We'll be live later this afternoon, the evening. We'll be covering the entire tornado outbreak. Obviously, we don't really have any storm chasers right now out there. We've had Hunter Hurley there in the Joplin area, but all the storm chasers are mostly targeting the Mississippi River Valley event, and I think there might be a couple up in Ohio too. But for right now, we don't have any chasers out there right now because, these storms are moving so fast. Like, you can't even chase, really, the storms that we have right now. They're all moving east, northeast at, like, 80 miles per hour. Like, they're ripping to the east right now, so. Little update on our severe thunderstorm warning moving into Illinois right now. Our main concern is damaging winds. There is a tornado possible label on this. And a little bit of rotation moving in the direction of Whitehall and Winchester. Just to the east of Bowling Green. So we'll eventually go towards Springfield, by the way. So stay weather aware if you're over in Springfield. Thank you, Sandy, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sam, for becoming a member. Hey. What's up? Thank Evie for becoming a member. This is our latest update on the tornado warning. Not really a whole lot of rotation left. We still have a little bit of rotation north of I-70. It will be approaching the west side of Boonville, kind of in the suburbs there, moving towards New Franklin and Estill. Continue to stay in your safe place if you're in this tornado warning. I don't know if they're going to continue it. We'll have to wait and see. But the rotation is just enough for this warning to continue for Cooper County and Missouri, moving northeast at about 60 miles per hour. The cat is trying to climb over my mic stand. Supposed to climb over that. Thank you, Todd, for the 5 gifted. Please, can you get off of me? Love cats. I didn't know I loved cats until I got one. Literally. Kevin asks, Kevin says, tomorrow is the 101-year anniversary of the 1974 tornado outbreak. Well, I don't think it's the 101-year anniversary because 1974 was 51 years ago. I'm guessing that's what you meant to say. I do appreciate the super chat, but yeah. There's a lot of history. I mean, every day really in the spring has history. Like, you could go any day, March 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Like, basically every day has some sort of historical outbreak that we've had. Especially in the spring. Thank you, Anthony, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. Tornado warning has just been canceled, by the way, for Cooper County. So we no longer have any tornado warnings, but we still have a line of thunderstorms approaching Springfield that is capable of producing some damaging winds, large hail. There is a tornado possible label on this, so we're going to continue to watch this very closely. As a reminder, if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you're notified when we do go live later today. We're going to be live here for at least another hour or two, covering the current threat of severe weather, as it is still a little bit more elevated. I think what we're going to do, unless the weather stays really active, what we'll probably do in about an hour or two is, basically eat for an hour and then come back and be live for the rest of the day, because it's going to be a long day, so... But we are here just in case for Springfield. We're here for Springfield and whatever happens in Illinois. And if for some reason the weather takes a crazy turn and we have a bunch of tornado warnings here in like 20 minutes, we'll probably be live the entire day. So I don't know if there will be really much of a break in the action. It says 1 tornado warning, but it has technically been canceled. Even if it isn't, I mean, it's technically gone. Which honestly, I don't really agree with them just canceling the warning outright or letting it expire. There's a little bit of rotation there just west of Boonville. We should be getting a new severe thunderstorm warning here in a moment for Jacksonville, Murrayville, and Winchester in Illinois. That'll be for damaging winds and a possible tornado threat. Ironically, this is happening on my birthday. Thank you, Jackson, for becoming a member. It's not my birthday, by the way. I'm just saying what somebody said in the chat. It's back up near, this is over in Chesterton in Indiana. On the virtual rail fan. We got a little bit of scud there. This is an area where most of our storms are elevated right now, but cool little view there of the storm rolling in. I've had some hailstorms up there. Guys, it's not my birthday. It's not my birthday. It's just, I've read somebody's message. Thank you, okay, dude, for the super chat. About to head to work at Culver's in Springfield. Hopefully, nothing will come from the storm. Yeah, right now, the main concern for Springfield is wind. Again, there's a chance that we might get an isolated tornado out of this as it moves towards Springfield, but we'll have to wait and see. The bigger concern right now is going to be damaging winds and hail. Guys, my birthday was like 3 months ago. It's not my birthday. Do I know Reed Timmer? No. Never heard of that guy. I live just north of Jonesboro, Arkansas. I'm mentally preparing for this storm. Again, there's no reason to like... Again, I know the risk is concerning today, and it is. There's no other way to put it. I mean, it is a concerning risk, and it's going to be a long day. There's no other way to put it. But what you should be doing is just having ways to receive warnings, have a tornado action plan ready to go. If you're in a mobile home, if you are in an RV, a campground, what I would recommend doing is just, just make sure that you have a sturdy structure. Like have a place to go. If you know any friends or family that have a sturdy structure that you can stay in for the day, it might be a good idea to do that later today. After lunchtime today, that's when the things start to really get crazy. I mean, it's really going to be around 4 o'clock when this area ramps up. But you're definitely going to want to make sure if you're in this area that you have all the precautions like nailed down. It depends on your situation. If you're in like a 2-story building and you got a basement or something like that, you already know your tornado action plan. Pretty good idea to just eat at home tonight instead of trying to go out to eat if you're in this area. Because, I mean, you don't want to get caught off guard. There will be storms almost everywhere here tonight. The coverage of storms is pretty much 100% if you're in the moderate risk of severe weather or the high risk. I'll just show you the future radar here at like 5, 6 o'clock. You can see how we just have a full-blown cluster of storms. I mean, this is an entire line of storms that is going to be moving through this area. And so pretty much everybody in either in the moderate or high risk are going to see severe weather, or at least see weather, or sorry, at least see storms, and then a pretty good chance that there will be severe weather in your area, which could be pretty much widespread at the point that these storms are there, which across the high risk, storms are currently expected sometime between about 3 to about 10 or 11 o'clock. And then the moderate risk is anywhere from starting as early as 1 or 2 o'clock and rolling all the way through about midnight and a little bit after midnight tonight. You have a new severe thunderstorm warning back over in western Missouri. This is north of Springfield. This is near Urbana, Max Creek, Climax Springs, Laurie, Versailles, Stover, Cross Timbers, Hermitage. As for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, quarter-sized hail, and there is a tornado possible label on that activity. This is the latest weather sounding out of Little Rock. We have a loaded gun sounding in Little Rock today. Impressive hodograph. Very strong wind shear. The only thing right now in Little Rock that's preventing storms, like right now, for example, is that we do have a pretty large cap in place, but that will be overcome later when storms are in your area. We do have a loaded gun sounding today. Bunch of instability. Strong wind shear. Basically got everything. Thank you, Dan and Avery, for becoming members. And we're still monitoring the potential for an isolated tornado threat in and around Springfield right now. Main concern is damaging winds and hail. There is a tornado possible label on this, so we're keeping an eye on it if you're in Springfield. Thank you, Bethany, for becoming a member. Sleet in Michigan right now? Must be on the northern side of the state. How cold is it up there right now? Check out the temperatures. It's crazy that Michigan, for the second time in the last 4 days, is going to see severe weather, in addition to having wintry weather happening at the same time. Because, like, literally the other day, we had a significant round of severe weather roll right through the state with, you know, widespread damaging winds and a few tornadoes. And the temperatures right now are in the 30s, and you would probably think we're not getting severe weather in Michigan today, which, you know, the risk is a little bit lower than other areas, but like the southern half of the state has a risk for severe weather, and the temperatures all across the board are in the 30s. That's just crazy. Need Jordan and VJ for the super chats. Suggestions for somebody in a second-story apartment in a tornado warning. So in a second story, basically your best option is either to, one, if you have like a community, like, you know, like maybe like a community bathroom or something like that, like at your apartment complex. I don't know if you do, but if you do, that might be a decent place to go. If you have a friend on the first floor they can just be with for a little while, you might want to do that as well. But another option too is just going to the most interior part of that apartment room into a bathroom and get into a tub, put a mattress over you, that sort of thing. A laundry room's a good place too, you know, that sort of thing. We have another velocity scan in a second. I am watching north of Monet for possible rotation. It's going in the direction of Springfield. Did I get my AC fixed? My AC is fixed. Thank you, Alex, for becoming a member. 9 tornadoes confirmed in Michigan on Sunday. Is that what the number's up to? I'm honestly not surprised. We had a lot of spin-ups in that line. Actually, let me check real quick and see. I'm curious on how many tornadoes that we had. I don't know if we have an updated number here. What day was that again? The 30th? We currently have 32 tornadoes confirmed from the March 30th and 31st severe weather outbreak. We had an EF1 in Dothan, Alabama. We were live. That injured 5 students at the Dothan Preparatory Academy. And there were 3 EF2 tornadoes. We didn't end up having any intense tornadoes, but we did have a few strong tornadoes. So. Also, we have a rotation developing near Hermitage going towards Max Creek. There's a little area of rotation on that. Moving northeast, it'll go towards Lake Ozark and Osage Beach, so we're going to need to keep an eye on that cell as it moves to the northeast. We are watching storms again in and around Springfield, most of them producing wind. Might see a tornado risk come out of this. Say a live shot on I-44 at Halltown at mile marker 58 with the storms rolling in right now. Huge shout out to Felicia with the very generous super chat. I retired from the military and I'm going back to school for meteorology. The VA program requires me to interview 3 people in the field. It would be amazing if you could be one. Email me and I'll try my best. I try to remind me to because I'm probably going to forget. I have so many things going on. But I will try my best to do that.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Alright, we do have a brand new tornado warning in Missouri. This is going to be north of Columbia, north of Boonville. If you are in this tornado warning, seek shelter, get away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get to an interior room of your home or building. This is right over the town of Fayette, going towards Harrisburg, south of Higbee. Our strongest area of rotation is right near Highway 5, and we'll eventually go towards Clark and Sturgeon. The storm was tornado warned prior. It did get canceled, and now they've reissued it as the rotation has gotten stronger here over the last few minutes. And we actually might have a tornado with this. May have already had one. Just north of New Franklin. They'll be approaching the south side of Fayette in Missouri over the next few minutes. And in this warning, if we have a tornado, it would be approaching the Fayette Housing Authority, the Commercial Trust Bank, the CNR Market in Fayette, Chapman's Child Care, Tony Williams Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. There's also a Fayette Wastewater Plant. And a Dairy Queen. And we also have a high school, I think. Yeah, they got the Fayette High School is included in this tornado warning. And the L.J. Daly Elementary School. School's obviously in session, so if you're watching from one of those schools, definitely get to your safe place here. Thank you, Catherine, for becoming a member. I double check and see. I don't know if we have any camera views up here. I don't think we do, but let me check. We got one over near Columbia. Not close enough. EF5 is catastrophic. Yeah, EF5 is catastrophic. I mean, like, the scale that we use to, like, basically word warning, or, like, warn different types of tornadoes, EF2 is technically strong, EF3 would be intense, and then violent would be, like, EF4 or EF5. You could also say catastrophic is simply EF5. But whenever we get a tornado emergency, that doesn't always mean we have an EF5 tornado happening, but catastrophic tornadoes are usually violent ones, so EF4 plus. And our main area of rotation is over the south side of Fayette right now. If we have a tornado, it would be approaching the south side of town. That is where our strongest area of rotation is. It's going to be crossing right over 240 here over the next 30 seconds to a minute. Moving right along 124. There are some homes and buildings in these areas. We got multiple homes here on the south and east side of Fayette if we have a tornado. And then it'll go towards Pumpkin Center, Minnie, Bunker Hill, and just north of Seabury, west of Harrisburg. Have another radar scan here in a moment. How's North Texas looking? I think North Texas will be mostly a hail risk later today. And even overnight tonight. I don't really anticipate there to be much of a tornado risk there. It's pretty low. This is the latest radar scan. Main area of rotation right now is over the east side of Fayette. Approaching Bunker Hill. This is over in Gunter, Texas, from Falcon storm chasing as of about 20 minutes ago. Look at that shot. We've had some storms ongoing there in North Texas, and that is a very ominous looking shot there in a little field here. A little scuddy, little lowering there as well. Not really a wall cloud or anything, but a little scuddy on the cloud base. In addition to us having a high risk of severe weather today, we also have a high risk for excessive rainfall, which begins tomorrow. So tomorrow we have a high risk of excessive rainfall in place, pretty much exactly where our high risk of severe weather is in place. It's a very rare, again, storm that we are dealing with right now. We have a lot of severe weather that's coming here over the next couple of days, and then we also have an abnormally large amount of rainfall that's going to be falling in the Mississippi River Valley in the Mid-South. We could be talking again about a widespread area of 10 to 15 inches of rainfall, and there could even be some spots over 20 inches of rainfall when this is all said and done. High risk again in place for tomorrow, and then going into Friday, the moderate risk is a little bit further off to the west. But tomorrow, even today, we have a moderate risk of excessive rainfall in place. This is your risk for today. So moderate risk of excessive rainfall is in place from Indiana back into Arkansas. Turn around, don't drown on the roadways. There will be flooding in low-lying areas for sure in a lot of spots. So it'd be a good idea just to avoid traveling into flooded roadways. We do have an area of rotation west of Cassville in southwest Missouri that is starting to intensify a little bit, approaching Purdy. And also back over near Bentonville and Fayette. We don't really have much here. It's just a strong storm right now. Mostly strong storms in Oklahoma and Arkansas. Main concern currently is Missouri, Illinois. North of Springfield, we've had some broad rotation on this cell near Urbana. Just south of Cross Timbers, approaching Max Creek and eventually going towards Greenview. And we do have another severe thunderstorm warning in Ohio. That's Mansfield for quarter-sized hail. The storm's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. Again, these storms are very fast-moving today. We got a lot of storms over in Ohio right now, but again, keep in mind, that's really not our main event. Those are just some isolated hailstorms this morning. Our tornado risk and high wind risk and very large hail threat is mostly this afternoon into the evening. We have some very strong wording from the National Weather Service of Little Rock for today. Their wording here is that all hazards continue to be in play across the entire state. The risk for very large hail and excessive baseball-sized hail or larger is a real possibility for the entire state of Arkansas. Damaging wind gusts of 60 to 80 miles per hour will be possible. And then tornadoes, which some could likely be long-tracked and violent, will be possible across the southeastern half of Arkansas. That's some pretty strong wording. All right, this is the latest radar scan. They have just updated the tornado warning. Velocities are still pretty strong right now on the east side of Fayette in Missouri. Going to be approaching Bunker Hill and Pumpkin Center. No debris signature right now, but velocities are still very strong. This has now gotten past the high school and elementary school in Fayette, but it is coming up on Bunker Hill over the next few minutes. If we do have a tornado, it would be approaching the Lenore Performance Building. There's also a few cemeteries, Foxtail Farms, Doherty Park, New Hope Church, Frontier Adjusters are in the general path of this. Murphy Lakes is also another area. Again, the strongest rotation right now, just east of Fayette. Still an impressive looking supercell here. This one's been going for a little while now. It's been one of our more long track storms. We've had a lot of storms that have rotated and they just kind of died out after. That one's been going for a little while now. All right, if you're back over in Springfield, again, we do have some strong storms coming in. They have canceled the severe thunderstorm warning and replaced it with a special weather statement. But we do have, again, some rotation. I'm going to wait for the next radar scan here. But southwest of Springfield, back over near Cassville and Purdy, there has been at least a little area of rotation here that's moving to the northeast. Going towards Aurora. Wait for the oh, here's the latest velocity scan. Yeah, we still have a rotation right now near Wheaton. Wouldn't be surprised if we got a tornado warning on this at some point. So if you're in this general area, definitely make sure that you're staying weather aware. This would, by around 40-50 minutes from now, would probably be going towards the south side of Springfield. It's tracking more to the kind of northeast right now. I did that twice now. Dude, I kept stuck clicking on that. It's going towards Springfield, though. I live in the level 5 high risk. There's about, I think it was 2.5 million people that live in the high risk today for severe weather. The high risk did grow in the latest outlook, and they actually might shrink it down a little bit. They might get rid of the northern extent of that high risk a little bit. I honestly think southern and eastern Arkansas and western Tennessee are the main areas of concern. But again, you could see strong long track tornadoes literally anywhere in the risk. You don't have to be in the high risk to see tornadoes today. Don't get too caught up in the risks again. It's one of those things. A lot of people usually do get caught up in the risk, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not in the high risk. I don't have to worry." It's not how it works. If you remember, we had a moderate risk of severe weather back on March 14th, and guess what? We had a bunch of tornadoes, and that was a tornado outbreak, and we could have easily had a high risk that day. But I mean, even if you're in the enhanced risk, strong tornadoes are still possible. I mean, we've seen a couple model runs too where like a strong tornado or two out of a discrete supercell are possible in western Ohio. Like, you can't rule it out. You can't even rule it out back over, you know, on the southern half of this enhanced risk or anywhere really. So it's a more conditional risk, obviously, but it is possible. And anywhere in this hatched area, strong tornadoes are possible. Wouldn't rule out strong tornadoes outside of this area too. It's just, again, a lower, generally speaking, it's a lower risk. And again, we do have a 30% chance of tornadoes within a 25-mile radius right along the Mississippi River Valley. Purely due to the fact that our risk, like with how many storms we're going to be seeing, I do think the high risk is very justified for today. Obviously, we'll see if it pans out, but I do think we're going to end up seeing a pretty large-scale tornado outbreak here today. Max said they canceled school today. There are some cancellations. I don't know. I've at least heard about delays in early releases in Arkansas. Some schools are releasing at like 1 p.m. Which, again, I honestly agree with that. Like, if you're in a risk of severe weather and your buses usually go out at like 4 or 5 o'clock, I think it's a good idea to have an early release, because there will likely be some storms around that time frame. But it depends on where you are. If you're back over in like Nashville, for example, nothing's happening there until like midnight. So, but if you're back over in like Little Rock or Jonesboro, like storms will be in that area anywhere from about 2 or 3 all the way up until like 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. So it's better to do that than, you know, have the bus out there at 4 o'clock with a tornado on the ground. I mean, if you ever watch the Joplin tornado or any of those other tornadoes, like, you know, there were some major ones that have happened in the past, and there's literally school buses that are out there, you know, normal dismissal time, but they get caught in the crossfire of a tornado. So it's honestly a better thing to, just as a precaution, have everybody get out early. Why is enhanced risk 3 and moderate risk 4? So enhanced risk is our level 3 out of 5 severe weather risk. This is, again, the general risk outline. The Storm Prediction Center categorizes it as a marginal risk, which is your 1 out of 5. That's the green. Slight risk is a 2 out of 5. Enhanced is 3 out of 5. Moderate is 4. And then high is 5. That's how they classify it on the scale. But honestly, I still would not get too caught up in the risks today. If you're at least in the enhanced risk, you need to definitely be weather aware. I mean, you should be weather aware anywhere, but this is definitely an area that you need to lock in today. Even though it's a little bit more conditional in the enhanced risk for strong tornadoes, it is possible. And the moderate and high risk is almost undoubtedly going to have at least a few tornadoes in that area. So there's very, very low chances that we don't see anything happen there, like in terms of tornadoes. It would have to take a ton of, you know, convection out front of the, like, it would basically have to, it would have to be such a messy setup, even compared to what we're forecasting, for there to not be strong and long track tornadoes there. It's just a very slim chance of it not verifying today. Manny doesn't read chat. I've read chat like a bunch here in the last 5 minutes. Thank you, Howie and Will, for becoming members. Do you ever sleep? I got about 7 hours of sleep last night. We didn't do as bad as like previous nights. Could have done better, but it works out. I know the scale's a little confusing, but moderate risk is a 4 out of 5 and enhanced is 3 out of 5. Some people do flip them though, which I understand. I don't even know if I want to show this. This is the RRFS model, and I'm only going to show it for a second. I don't think this is going to happen, but this model is like one of the new ones that that they're working on trying to make and basically replace the HRRR in the future. I don't think this is happening, by the way. The amount of discrete supercells there is absurd. Again, what I do think will happen is more like what the HRRR is showing. We're going to have like a line of thunderstorms, and then we'll have some discrete supercells kind of trying to form out in front of that. Maybe even one back over in Ohio, perhaps one over in Indiana. But really, this is the corridor where we're going to have the more significant threat for severe weather, including damaging winds and tornadoes. But I do think the strong and long track tornado threat will come out of discrete supercells, but even some of the storms that are embedded in that cluster will be capable, I think, of, you know, significant severe weather, including tornadoes. We do have a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. The potential for marginally severe hail and isolated wind damage will continue throughout the morning. This is in central northern Illinois and also northwestern Indiana. If you're back over near Chicago or Gary, you're probably still a few hours away from seeing severe weather there. Rotation continues to be a little bit on the stronger side of things near Purdy in southwestern Missouri, moving in the direction of Aurora. Got a little area of rotation trying to develop northwest of Springfield. That hasn't really come together. And we've had some rotation here for a little bit southwest of Laurie in Missouri, moving towards Max Creek, and will eventually go towards Lake Ozark. Continue to stay weather aware if you're in that area. The line of storms back over in Illinois, it looked a little bit more concerning earlier, but it's been falling apart quite a bit. Mainly a wind threat moving towards Springfield. The tornado risk here is pretty low for the time being. But no tornado warnings right now, so we'll go back to answering some questions here. Also, a huge shout out to Cindy with a very generous $50 Venmo donation. Really appreciate the generosity from Southwest Missouri. Really appreciate that. And we have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings. We have 2 in Illinois, 1 in Missouri, and then we also have 1 in Ohio. That is the current outline of our severe thunderstorm warnings. Hope Queso's okay. I have heard that Queso is in the risk of severe weather today. Hey, we'll be here for Queso, don't worry. We'll be here whenever storms are in his neck of the woods. Thank you, Aiden, for becoming a member. Memphis usually gets lucky with this stuff. Do you think this will be the case today? It's hard to tell. I can't really do like a city-by-city breakdown. Like, I can't say that, you know, I can't just say that like South Haven's gonna get lucky and then Germantown won't. Like, you can't really predict that. It's too small scale. Like, we can generally at least predict that, hey, there will be storms in your area today, because guys, there's going to be storms here. Like, there's a basically 100% chance that there will be storms in the Memphis area tonight. Like, this is what it looks like at 7 o'clock. We have storms stretching across literally this entire area. This is going to be a widespread severe weather event. It's huge. It's massive. This is honestly bigger than the last severe weather event that we had on Sunday. The area that this is spanning across is even more widespread too. Like, this is more organized and widespread by around 6 to 7 o'clock tonight. It's obviously not the same threat level in terms of wind and hail and whatnot. Like, our wind threat is technically slightly lower, but we are also talking about a significant damaging wind risk, which means we could have winds above 80 miles per hour. But the tornado threat is way more elevated than what we had on Sunday, and obviously this is just kind of bananas. And overnight tonight in Dallas-Fort Worth, it looks like we're gonna get some big hailstorms. I know we have some people watching from that area. This is right around 3 to 4 in the morning. We could have some big hailstorms in and around Dallas-Fort Worth. Hey, Spy for the super chat. Martin, Tennessee lost power at 9 a.m. already. Lots of wind. Actually curious how strong the winds actually are there. There's a pretty strong pressure gradient today. Or pressure gradient. Well, yeah, there's pretty tight pressure gradients, but there's also a very low pressure back off to the north. We are at 987 millibars or so for our pressure level as of this morning. And we have severe weather happening, and we also have a winter storm happening with this system as well. But here are our wind gusts, which, yeah, they're pretty high. Let me just zoom into the Ohio Valley. These are our wind gusts right now. They're in the 40s and even low 50s. We got wind gusts ranging from 40 to 55 miles per hour out ahead of these storms. So there will be a potential for isolated power outages. We can even have some spots near 60 miles per hour around lunchtime today. And later this afternoon and into the evening hours, the winds continue to stay pretty strong. That's what the HRRR is showing for winds. The HRRR has the winds dying down right around 5 to 6 o'clock, or at least to some extent, and then our significant wind threat right along the line of storms, which makes sense. Yeah, let's see what the latest HRRR shows here. Over the next few hours, this is right around 11 a.m. or so, the HRRR continues to show a pretty isolated risk of severe weather through the rest of this morning. We might have one more tornado or two here in Missouri, mainly just some wind though, maybe a little bit of hail. And then just after lunchtime, things start to kick up across southern Missouri, Arkansas, back over near St. Louis with damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes starting to uptick. By around 4 to 5 o'clock, storms are becoming more widespread across Illinois, Missouri, and Arkansas. And then a little after 6 to 7 o'clock, we got a very intense line of storms approaching, the Mississippi River Valley, and then a lot of discrete cells down here in eastern Arkansas. These will be the ones that we really need to watch for. It's going to be a long day. Long day ahead. Shout out to Draken with the 10 gifted memberships. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Pablo, for the super chat. What are your thoughts on St. Louis today? I think St. Louis will be mainly a wind risk in a few hours. I don't expect really much hail or a tornado risk. It'll be a pretty low for that area. And also, Dominic is asking about the hail in Missouri. There's really not much hail right now. If we have any large hail, it'd be around quarter size out of something like up here, north of Springfield. But overall, the hail risk here today is not really too concerning right now. It will be more concerning this afternoon, mainly in this region where we're going to start to see some discrete cells pop up. So I don't know why my pen just did that, but basically anywhere in this region, we could be talking about some large to very large hail out of the supercells that fire up as we go into the afternoon hours. But for right now, the threat is on the lower side of things. Thank you, Draken, again for another 10 gifted memberships. Appreciate that. Hope he's in the chat for Draken. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning in Oklahoma. This will be the storm southwest of Fort Smith, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-sized hail moving in the direction of Fort Smith, Arkansas. You know, it's crazy. In northern Michigan right now, we still have ice. Like the ice storm is crazy, but like we had an ice storm this past weekend. There is still ice everywhere in northern Michigan, and we are also watching for more severe weather today. Absolutely crazy. Thank you, Hutton, for the super chat. Nate Robin for becoming a member. How's Tupelo, Mississippi look like today? I think Tupelo will be mainly a wind risk, and it'll be kind of more like after midnight. Let me go back to the ARRR here. Risks for Chicago, mainly wind. Mainly wind. This is by around midnight tonight. So, I mean, notice how Tupelo doesn't really have much. There's a low chance, again, there's a conditional threat today that we get discrete supercells that are ahead of this line. And if that happens, that would also create a more elevated threat for strong and long track tornadoes. I've given about a 50% chance of that happening. Otherwise, a lot of the storms will be embedded in this like line that we have. But again, a little after midnight tonight, the storms will be trying to approach Tupelo. But I don't think we're going to have much success getting anything really there. It'll be I would say it's a low chance of actually seeing severe weather. I think, our greatest threat will be right along the Mississippi River Valley in the lower Midwest. We're still watching the storms in and around Springfield right now. At this point, not really much of a tornado concern. More just gusty winds and small hail in the vicinity of Springfield. Again, no tornado warnings as of right now. We do have a tornado possible label that is in place. Which does include the northern suburbs here, mainly north of Bolivar near Max Creek and Climax Springs. But the warning does expire in 2 minutes, so we'll see if they issue a new one. Or sorry, expires in 15 minutes. But we'll see if they issue a new one. If they do, it'd go towards Eldon, St. Robert, just north of Lebanon will be the next areas to watch for in this warning. Hey Max, watching from Wilmington, Ohio. My fire department is getting ready for another round of tornadoes. What are your thoughts on Southwest Ohio near Wilmington? I still think the threat of tornadoes there is conditional when it comes to strong tornadoes. It's going to depend on if we get discrete supercells, which has been shown on a couple of models. Again, we've seen that in a couple of different computer model runs where we could get a discrete supercell or two in Southwest Ohio. If we don't get that, it's going to be more of a line of storms for Western Ohio, which could still produce strong tornadoes, but those would be more on the brief side. It'd be more of a wind threat as well, rather than, you know, a tornado risk. Shout out to Joanne also for the Venmo donation. I appreciate that. Where do you get the instant tornado warning notifications from? I don't know. I have a software that essentially just gives me the tornado warnings instantly and stuff, which it's essentially the same way. If you live in a tornado warning, you'll get the warnings pretty much instantly when they get issued. There is sometimes a delay on radars, but we have a way to get them basically immediately. So sometimes they pop up on radar a few seconds afterwards. Basically helps us being able to get the word out faster, though. I mean, if it wasn't for that, it would be, you know, we would basically be delayed sometimes on getting that tornado warning information out there. And seconds matter sometimes. Seconds can literally matter when it comes to severe weather events like this. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate the super chat. I think Phoenix will be all right today. Central Kentucky seems to be allergic to severe weather and tornadoes. Any idea as the reason why? I don't really feel like they're allergic to tornadoes. I feel like we've seen plenty of severe weather in Kentucky. Maybe you're going off the narrative like it's mostly wind and rather than tornadoes, because I mean we did have severe weather literally on Sunday there. At least in most of central Kentucky. Sometimes there's unwarned tornadoes, so I don't know about instant notifications. Well, yeah, that's different. I mean, I'm just talking about like in general. If a tornado warning gets issued, we usually have them come in pretty quickly on our end. We have yet again another severe thunderstorm warning in Oklahoma for Pickaway, Fairfield, or sorry, this is Ohio. For Pickaway, Fairfield, and Licking counties for $half sized hail. We got a bunch of hailstorms right now in and around Columbus and Mansfield. All these storms right now are producing some level of hail, whether that's small hail or even large hail with the one like near Mansfield, for example, or southeast of Columbus. We got some hailstorms in the area. Once again, the tornado risk here is pretty much zero right now. These are all elevated storms, so we're not expecting tornadoes right now in Ohio, but large hail will continue. Frequent lightning as well. And also some strong winds are possible. We're still watching the storms near Springfield right now for a possible tornado risk. And so far, it's been mostly wind and hail. No tornado warnings here for about 20 minutes now. This is what it looks like right now in Nixa, just south of Springfield. Storm is rolling in right now. I'm going to see if we have any better views, though. Looks like storms have just moved through Bolivar as well in Missouri. Yeah, the Springfield storms don't look too bad. Again, they've looked just strong at this point. We had rotation on the storm that was near Aurora, and that one's been weakening out. So it looks like Springfield is all right for right now. Again, we still have a storm that's north of Springfield that could always organize. And the one that's going up now towards Eldon and Lori, that one's been also weakening a little bit. So it's at least been a decent trend here on these storms. Still have a couple areas of rotation. Actually got 4 areas of circulation, but all of them are pretty broad right now, back over between Versailles and Route 65. As a reminder, if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Again, we're going to be live most of today, covering severe weather. In addition to that, make sure you click the bell icon so you're notified with the latest live streams and videos. As I've already mentioned, this stream will probably not be our entire live stream. We are more than likely going to have 2 different live streams today, just so I can eat before we have our big tornado outbreak. So just make sure you click the bell icon. Also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description. Make sure to follow us on those platforms. We'll be posting plenty of updates on those throughout the day today and tomorrow. Again, we are expecting a tornado outbreak today, and tomorrow we will probably also have a tornado outbreak. And I'm not surprised. I'm kind of surprised that we don't currently have a enhanced risk of severe weather currently in place, but this is for tomorrow. Right in this region here, we could have another small-scale tornado outbreak from western Tennessee into northern Louisiana and into southern Arkansas. Tomorrow looks pretty concerning as well. Discrete supercells are definitely in play, so we're going to have to keep a very close eye on that. Thank you, Tom, for the Storm Chaser Tom for the 10 gifted memberships. Really appreciate that. I'm in St. Roberts, Missouri. My kids are at school, and I'm worried about tornadoes. Should I let them go? Where is St. Roberts? I can't find St. Roberts even on the search thing. Where's St. Roberts in Missouri? Oh, right here, I see it. Never mind. Oh, St. Robert, that's why. In St. Robert, I wouldn't be too concerned. I don't think St. Robert's really in like the potential for strong or long track tornadoes. So I don't think you have to like keep your kids home from school or anything like that. I think you'll be all right. Again, they're safe there. I mean, the bigger concern really is when your kids are traveling home from school on a bus. And that's the more concerning thing, because usually they're going to be okay at the school. Like you can see by around 2-3 o'clock, the storm's already out of there. So no later than like 2, you're pretty much done there in St. Roberts. You're part of my morning routine now. I watch your videos before work. I appreciate that. And my morning routine is to make a video every morning at like 6 a.m. and then go to school. This is a view on the north side of Springfield right now. Got a little storm here rolling in. So on I-44 at mile marker 85. Little storm moving in here. But again, this is probably what we're going to be looking at right around 5 to 6 o'clock this evening. We're going to be looking at an elongated line of storms with significant damaging winds, large hail, and multiple tornadoes being in play. My wife says you sound like Tim the Tatman. I don't think so. Will Central Indiana get hit hard? I think Central Indiana is mostly going to be wind as well, but there will be a more elevated threat for tornadoes the further south you go. So if you're anywhere just south of Indianapolis, this region in particular is where I'm watching for more of an elevated threat for strong tornadoes. Also, we just got another severe thunderstorm warning east of Columbus. That is for $half sized hail. So the hail risk does continue here east of Columbus in Ohio. So we got plenty of storms out there right now all across Ohio. We're also still monitoring a large hailstorm that's going towards Fort Smith. Currently not a tornado concern, but large hail and damaging winds are going to be possible with this, and a lot of lightning as it continues to move northeast towards Fort Smith and Alma. So if you are in the track of this, continue to stay weather aware. Fort Smith, be ready for hail and wind and a low tornado risk. Protect your vehicle if you've not already. One of the best things you can probably do today ahead of these storms is protect your vehicle if you can. If you have a garage, you might want to park it. Once again, large to very large hail is a big concern. Let me put out the hail risk here. Our significant hail risk is essentially across a huge area. Again, this is just such a large risk of severe weather today. I'm pretty sure it's around the same size, if not a little larger than our Sunday risk. But we have a very large hail threat, essentially anywhere from northern Indiana and western Ohio, all the way back into Dallas, Fort Worth, and Texas, across almost all of Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Kentucky, Indiana, just a ton of places are included in a threat here for very large hail. Now, not everybody's going to see very large hail, but it's a good idea to protect your vehicle. If you have patio furniture that can shatter from hail, you might want to protect that as well. Any plants that could take damage from hail, bring those in if you can. Because large hail can be very damaging, and it can be very destructive, and it also can cause really significant financial damage too. I mean, we've seen some major hail events over the years. Our significant wind risk is mainly from southern Michigan back into Arkansas. This is where we could see damaging winds exceed 75 miles per hour. So be ready for this. It's about a 30% chance in a 25-mile radius of damaging winds in the red. Again, our strong and long-track tornado threat is what is driving our moderate and high risk of severe weather today from Louisville and just south of Indianapolis, back into southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, eastern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, northwest Mississippi, and western Tennessee. As a reminder, the Storm Prediction Center has said that multiple EF3 plus tornadoes are likely today. So we really need to be on alert here today. This is going to be a very long day, especially this afternoon and evening when things really start to kick into gear. Anytime from about 2 or 3 o'clock all the way until about midnight or so is when we expect the peak of the tornado threat, with multiple strong and long track tornadoes being in play. So you need to be ready. Have a tornado action plan ready to go. Have ways to receive warnings. And if you have any friends or family in the risk area, feel free to share this channel with them. Again, we'll be live most of the day. Feel free to share the stream with them on Facebook, Twitter, whatever platform. Try to get the word out there. This is free coverage that we have on this channel. And again, it's pretty much commercial free. There's no commercials. So a lot of people still don't know that weather on YouTube exists. So it's a good idea to try to get the word out there. Cleveland, Ohio should be mostly hail. I just had a power flash in Little Rock, but I'm not sure if it was from the winds. If I had to guess, it was probably from the winds. This is a view on the Radar Omega cyclone port in Perry County in Arkansas right now. And it doesn't look too windy right now. It's a little gusty. But yeah, if you got any power flashes over there, it would have been from the gusty winds. Do have a new severe thunderstorm warning going up towards Columbia in Missouri. Pierpont, and as well as California are included in this warning. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and there's also a tornado possible label on this storm. There's a little area of rotation right now north of Versailles that's moving in that direction. And we do still have a little bit of rotation as well north of Max Creek and one northeast of Urbana. We actually might have a tornado right now. It's too hard to tell. That could be hail contamination. But there is a stronger area of rotation right now over the north side of Max Creek near Bannister Ford. It's going to be approaching Hurricane Deck in Greenville. There may be a tornado here, but if I had to guess, that might be a tornado. I'm not positive because there's hail here, so there could be a little bit of hail contamination, but definitely be away from windows, lowest floor possible. If you're back up near Laurie or Greenville in Missouri may have a tornado with that. Even if we don't, we at least have damaging winds and some level of hail here. They did upgrade the warning in Oklahoma to $half size hail. I'm gonna wait for the next CC scan here. Thank you, Autumn, for the Venmo donation. You're pronouncing Boliviar wrong. Yes, I like pronouncing Boliviar, Missouri, as Boliviar. It's an inside joke from like a year ago. It sounds better. What'd you say for the pronunciation? Bolivar. Bro, Bolivar sounds like boring. Boliviar. It sounds fancy. I'm worried about tonight. I think tonight will be the worst. I think tonight is going to be the worst. All right, that CC drop is gone. I don't think that was a tornado. If there was, it was probably brief. But velocities are still pretty strong right now over the northeast side of Bannister Ford, approaching Greenville, Laurie. This is tracking towards the Village of the Four Seasons near Osage Beach and Eldon. And we do have some strong storms rolling right through Springfield right now, but we're not really looking at much of a risk of tornadoes for the time being, mostly just wind. Thank you, Jesse, for becoming a member. Any advice for us in Clarksville, Tennessee, especially for tonight? My best advice, again, is just stay weather aware and have multiple ways to receive warnings. That's the best thing you can do. If you have pets or anything like that that are outside, make sure you bring those in. If you have any family members that might not be aware of it or friends, reach out to them. Make sure that they're aware of the severe weather risk ahead today. Again, this is a much more elevated day. This could be one of the worst severe weather events that we've seen this year so far, or possibly the worst. You never know. So just definitely make sure that you are staying vigilant and weather aware today. And yeah, again, feel free if you want. You don't have to, but if you want, you can always share the channel with them. Again, we'll be live pretty much all day today. Commercial-free coverage. Covering all the crazy stuff that is going to be happening today. Again, we're expecting a long day of severe weather. The next few hours are going to be the quietest I think we're going to have all day. Like right now, we have a tornado watch, but the quietest the weather is really for the next 2 hours or so, and then things really ramp up after lunchtime. So it's going to be very busy this afternoon. I know a lot of you guys are watching now and just getting an update, but this afternoon is really when things kick into full gear. Like, the severe weather that we currently have is mostly just in the slight risk. This is a more conditional risk of tornadoes and such, and lower end risk of tornadoes and wind and hail. But storms really are going to start entering into the moderate and high risk right around 2 o'clock. And we'll start to see some storms firing off in this enhanced risk around lunchtime. So, it's the approximate timing right now. Michael says it's raining sideways in Laurie, Missouri. Well, that is probably because of the wind that's in your area. I'm surprised they didn't continue a warning on this. At least a severe thunderstorm warning on the storm near Laurie, because we've had a little rotation southwest of Laurie. Now, over Laurie, there's also a little bit of a little spin there, so you might actually see the rain change directions a little bit. Hey, Jack, for the Venmo donation from Fort Smith Marshall's baseball team. How is Fort Smith, Arkansas looking today? I think Fort Smith is really over the next 2 or 3 hours, mainly a hail and wind risk and a very low tornado risk. The bigger concern in Arkansas will be central, eastern, and southern parts of the state. Thank you, Brian, for becoming a member. Pea-sized hail outside of Chicago. We actually have a couple of strong storms up here in and around Chicago right now. None of this is going to be really producing anything other than hail and some gusty winds and lightning. No, not really any tornado risk on this activity. Our threat for severe weather in Chicago today is really going to be dependent on what happens with this activity, which right now this is going to kind of just stabilize the atmosphere. And so I think for those like northern Illinois, our threat of severe weather is going to be mostly this morning into the early afternoon. Again, we might get something mid to late afternoon. with our environment really increase, like we'll have a lot more wind shear and a lot more instability up there by the afternoon, but with the storms that we're currently seeing, it should stabilize the atmosphere to prevent any significant severe weather from happening in and around Chicago. Same thing with like Gary, for example. I think a lot of it's going to be late morning, early afternoon. The HRRR, this is the latest run. It still continues to show multiple discrete cells firing off during the early to mid-afternoon hours across Arkansas and southeastern Missouri. It is still indicating that we could see a couple of discrete cells fire off out in front of the line. Like this by 7 o'clock tonight. It does show one storm forming there near Jackson. That could be tornadic. But definitely just an interesting trend here. Just after lunchtime, things really start to ramp up here in Arkansas. So around 1 to 2 o'clock, we start to get some of these discrete cells firing off, producing the potential for tornadoes. By 4 o'clock, it has 2 discrete cells in southeast Missouri. So, you know, we're all kind of just looking at simulations and projections of what might happen, but it's been pretty consistent at this point of, you know, discrete cells to start, and then it kind of turns into a line of storms with a few more discrete cells being possible near the Mississippi River Valley, right around 7 to 8 o'clock, with really major damaging winds and tornadoes being possible. Would be concerning Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's pitch black outside. This is what Kalamazoo, Michigan looks like right now. I wouldn't say it's pitch black. I'm pretty sure Kalamazoo is just dealing with some strong storms, though. Not really much else. Yeah, just some strong storms rolling through the southwest side of the state. The temperatures currently are in like the upper 30s, low 40s. So it's really not conducive for tornadoes or anything like that. Thank you, Andrew and Anna, for the generous Venmo donations as well. Really appreciate the generosity. Thank you, Ashley, for becoming a member. We are seeing an uptick of rotation on the storm that's going towards Columbia right now. We have a little area of convergence approaching the west side of California, moving towards Pierpont and Columbia in Missouri. We also have some rotation near Laurie, moving towards Eldon and Russellville. And there's also a little rotation near Maxville. That one's become a lot weaker. But our main 2 areas of rotation at this point is the one northeast of Laurie and the one west of Jefferson City that's going towards Columbia. And still monitoring a low-end chance for another tornado or 2 before lunchtime in central Missouri. Hey, office, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. All right. Supercells possible in mid-Tennessee tonight. I don't think they'll be that far to the east, but I can't rule it out. I think it'll be more of a line of storms by the time it gets to Nashville tonight. Notice how the risk of severe weather really is a sharp cutoff here late tonight. Again, these storms are going to be slowing down as they move towards Nashville and Bowling Green and those areas, but we could still see a couple of discrete cells. Those would be mostly off to the west of Nashville. But I don't think the Nashville area is really going to have anything discrete. I think it'll be that line of thunderstorms that produces significant damaging winds and perhaps maybe an isolated strong tornado. You are in the hatch risk for tornadoes, so definitely don't let your guard down by any means. But the risk of a discrete supercell is lower. Our best chance of that would be near the Mississippi River Valley. Thank you, Earl, for the super chat. People need to realize that strong winds can almost be as bad as a tornado. Sunday near Kalamazoo, a tree fell onto a car driving on the road, and it killed 3 children and injured 3 more in the car. Very sad freak accident. Yeah, I can't stress that enough. Like, we always talk about severe thunderstorm warnings, and I feel like they are not taken seriously enough in some cases. You know, damaging winds can literally kill people. I mean, we can have trees fall down, especially in areas like Michigan, Indiana. Like, there's trees everywhere out in these places. Missouri has plenty of trees. If you're in Kansas, it's more of a risk of just flying debris. Like if there was to be anything, because Kansas doesn't have that many trees. It's more, flat, and there just isn't much vegetation there. But in areas out here in the Ohio Valley, Kentucky, Tennessee included, there are trees everywhere. And if you live next to a home with trees, if you're like in a home and you have large trees next to you, it's always a very good idea to be on the lowest floor and away from windows, because if one of those trees comes down onto the top of your roof and you're on one of the top floors, you could get injured or even worse. So I'm not trying to say that to scare you, but I feel like it should be ingrained into your head that whenever you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, that you are in the the lowest floor possible. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for McLean, DeWitt, Tazewell, and Logan counties in Illinois. This will be for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. It'll pop up on the map here in a second. This is a considerable threat for damage. This is just south of Bloomington, going towards Clinton, Randolph, Leroy, Empire, and going right into Lincoln right now. And that is why right here, right over Hartsburg, we actually have a significant area of wind. Right around 90 miles per hour is what's being measured by radar. I'm not sure if we're actually at 90 miles per hour. That might be a little bit off the ground, but we definitely have some strong winds right now moving into the Lincoln area and heading into the south side of Bloomington. Stay safe, everybody, and check on the elderly. I agree with that, too. Thank you for the super chat, Outdoor. Thank you, Brian, for becoming a member. Over the last couple of scans, we've seen a little couplet approaching the southwest side of Columbia. Rotation slightly broader on the last couple scans, but there's been a little bit of rotation approaching the southwest side of Columbia and Missouri. Got a little bit of range folding now. Still a little bit of rotation also west of California. And then north of Lake Ozark, we still have rotation on this cell, moving towards Eldon and Russellville. We have another area of rotation southeast of Laurie and another one over Max Creek. Still have several areas of rotation across central Missouri. Just none of them are currently at the level of a tornado warning yet. The Weather Channel has a Torcon of 9 today. I mean, the Torcon is based off of the tornado probabilities, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure the way that they base those probabilities is off of the risk. I could be wrong. I'm not sure if that's the exact way, but I'm pretty sure a 30% tornado risk from the Storm Prediction Center would be a 9. I think this is a 7. I think that's a 5, 3, and then a 1. I could be wrong. It might be a 2, but something like that. I'm pretty sure this is your general Torcon outline, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's just based off the SPC probabilities, though. Hey, Storm Chaser Tom for the super chat. The Houston derecho is an excellent example of the severe winds acting like a tornado. We were out of power for 24 hours here. Many were out longer. Yeah, I remember covering that too. That was a crazy windbag that went right through Houston, Texas. Hey, CC for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Plum, for becoming a member. We have a camera, I think, in Peoria, don't we? Let's see. What should we expect in Northwest Ohio today? Mainly a risk for large hail and damaging winds. There is a low-end tornado risk up there. Low-end tornado risk. You having food brought into you for your stream? I just ordered Culver's, so we got the Culver's coming in, and then we're gonna see what the weather looks like here whenever that gets here. But if it looks a little bit calmer, I might take a quick break and come back, but we'll see. Hey, Susan, for becoming a member. I want to be fully energized, though, for the afternoon. I mean, again, right now we're just talking about some strong storms, low-end tornado risk. Like, this afternoon is going to be way worse. Again, between 2 o'clock p.m., basically from 2 until 12, that is a substantial threat for severe weather, anywhere from Missouri and Arkansas and even into parts of Texas, all the way back over into the Mississippi River Valley. We're talking about, again, a tornado outbreak likely today. I don't want to be, out of energy by that point, so I think taking a break at some point would be a good idea. But that won't happen yet. We're still watching these storms near Columbia because it's a more populated area. And we'll still be answering questions, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. But I didn't make a video today, so I honestly think this is probably a good replacement, covering what's happening now and also what's kind of to come today. The tornado risk in Michigan is pretty low. It's again not zero, but it's pretty low, unless you're on like the very southern side of the state is like the main area to watch for. In my opinion today, our worst tornado risk will probably end up being in this region right here. I think this is where our worst tornado threat is. I feel like it's a little bit more conditional up here. Okay, so I think this is, like, for our strong tornado threat, I think this is conditional. I did not spell conditional wrong. I spelled Call of Duty instead. That should say conditional. But that area, I feel like it's a little bit more conditional for strong and long track tornadoes. I think it's a much higher chance further down to the south. And I'm personally thinking this will be like the main area, and time will tell. I mean, again, I'm just giving you an idea of where I think what will happen, but I really recommend just being weather aware all day today. Have ways to receive warnings. Again, the chances of you seeing a tornado mathematically are still low, even if you're in the high risk. They are still technically low, but today is not a day that you want to be messing around with, and you don't want to just be caught off guard on the sun playing Call of Duty, for example, on your Xbox, and you're under a tornado warning and you have no clue what to do. Like, you want to have that plan, that tornado action plan ready to go, and have multiple ways to receive warnings. I just had somebody ask about Martin in Tennessee for timing. The timing there will probably be right around 7 to 10 o'clock or so. Back through the future radar here. But this is the general timing guide here. So 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Storms are kind of knocking on your doorstep. Memphis is around the same time tonight, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Unless we get a discrete supercell. Keep in mind, we could have a discrete supercell beforehand. The HRRR has been showing that a little bit here recently. If that happens, you could see a storm before that. You could see something as early as 3 or 4 o'clock and go through like 8 or 9 o'clock for a discrete cell. If you're in Little Rock, storms are expected right around 3, 4 o'clock. Some more significant severe weather is likely right around 3 to 4 o'clock in southeast Missouri. I know we have some people watching from North Texas, but if you're in North Texas, our risk, I think, will increase after 2 to 3 a.m. tonight for large hail and damaging winds and a low tornado risk. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for those in Fort Smith and Alma, northwest of Boonville. If you are in this severe... Did I say severe thunderstorm warning? Let's say severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in the severe thunderstorm warning, stay away from windows. The main concern is quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. See you streaming at this time is so weird. The only other time I think that we were ever live at about 7:30 a.m. was for, I believe it was, I think it was either Tropical Storm or Hurricane Debbie. I think it was Hurricane Debbie we were live for, and we got up at like 5 a.m. to go live for that, and that was really a quite the underwhelming hurricane. Like, there was not much that happened with it, which is really good. There just wasn't much to even cover on our live stream. Like, we went live covering a little bit of wind, very minimal storm surge, and that was it. That hurricane weakened a lot before making landfall. So that was the last time that we went live for something that early, I'm pretty sure. Got a new NATOcast outlook for today. NATOcast is an experimental tool that we can kind of use to pinpoint where some of the more significant tornado threats will be in play. And NATOcast has a bit more of a northern biasy with today's threat. They're thinking further north is where we have more strong and long track tornadoes. So we'll have to see how things go today. Again, this is basically accounting for a bunch of different computer models. But it's a good idea to just at least look at this and kind of get an idea of, basically the colors and where the highest colors are. That kind of gives you a better idea of where you could have some of the higher tornado probabilities later today. We do have an area of rotation right over Atlanta right now. Atlanta here in Illinois. This is just to the south of Bloomington. It's mainly a wind risk, but there's a little bit of rotation here on the leading edge of the storm near I-55. Also, golf ball sized hail is now falling in Coast-Hocton and Guernsey counties in Ohio. It's a considerable risk. Latest scan's a little bit broader. I wouldn't have ruled out like a brief lowering there a moment ago. A little broad area of rotation though on this cell, moving towards Randolph and Empire. Also going towards Leroy. Did we ever get damage reports in Salina last night from the PDS tornado? That is a good question. I literally woke up and went live like 20 minutes later, so I have not really had a chance to look. Let me check though. So from yesterday, we had 8 tornado reports, but this also includes what happened this morning. We've had 8 tornado reports. We had 1 in Idaho, out of all places. We actually had a tornado report in Idaho. And then we had a few this morning, mainly back over near Tulsa. We had 1 southwest of Bartlesville. We had a couple in the Salina area. There was damage, or there was hail reported, but I'm not seeing any damage reports in Salina. And then a lot of damage reports back over near Kansas City. So, in general, not from what I'm seeing, but might have some reports as we go later into the afternoon. You never know. There is some significant tornado damage from this morning in Mound Villa, Missouri. There was a home that was pretty much destroyed in Mount Villa, Missouri. I'm trying to find where that is. I don't know where Mount Villa is. It's not popping up in here, but I'm pretty sure that was the western half of the state. We do have some tornado reports coming out from earlier. A tornado track. This was over in Nevada, Missouri. We were live when this first happened. The tornado track has been reported from the south through east side of Nevada. Multiple semi-trucks were overturned on I-49. Roofing was off of structures, and trees are uprooted. So that was a tornado that we went live for right off the rip today. Also, off of F Highway at Euless Road, there was some damage there to businesses and homes. And then further to the north, we also had a tornado reported.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
We also had a tornado reported there. Deputies reported a rain wrap tornado east of Ballard on the ground, also confirmed by a tornado debris signature. We do have a new tornado warning north of Columbia, Missouri, going towards Hallsville, Centralia, west of Mexico. If you are in this tornado warning, seek shelter immediately. Get away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get to an interior room of your home or building. We have a stronger area of rotation that's approaching Hallsville right now. And it will be approaching against Centralia and Mexico. You need to be in your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom, away from windows, and lowest floor possible if you're inside this tornado warning. This is a view right now of that storm. This is a live shot of that storm that's tornado warned. This is from the I-70 corridor on the Missouri DOT traffic cam at mile marker 129.5. Put that bottom right of the screen. And strongest rotation right now is just north of 75. It'll be approaching Hallsville and Centralia over the next few minutes. Camera bottom right is looking at that storm, though, just to the north of I-70. So just off to the north here of Columbia, Missouri. This is going to be approaching Hallsville. And if we have a tornado, which we don't know if we do, but if we have one, it'll be approaching the Hallsville Community Center, the Dollar General, Hungry Tiger, and the Whitney Briggs Memorial Hockey Arena. is in the path of this. We also have the Hallsville Middle School and High School and preschool that are all in this area. It's on kind of the west side of town. And our main area of rotation is going to be pretty much rain wrapped just to the south right now of Hallsville. Moving to the northeast. Actually, this view is getting a little bit more interesting now. Here's again a live shot here on that camera. We have a little bit of lightning too. Just again inside the, just kind of barely to the south of the tornado warning, looking at the storm. Okay, while we're waiting to see what happens there, we do have a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. This is going to be across northeast Texas, southwest Arkansas, where storm development is possible along with prefrontal confluence. So we might get a potential tornado threat down here in northeast Texas and southwest Arkansas. Large hail and damaging winds also possible with this activity. So we'll be keeping an eye on that activity. Once again, we do have a tornado warning northeast of Columbia, Missouri. That's what we're looking at right now. Bottom right of your screen is a live shot of that as well. This is, again, moving in the direction of Centralia, west of Mexico, and we'll be approaching Malino, Skinner, Hollinsville, and Thompson, west of Worcester. So if you are in this tornado warning, be in your safe place. Again, if there is a tornado, it's just approaching the south side of Hallsville, not far from where the school district is. Emerald edge sharpening is also in the path of this. And it looks like there's actually a small airport over here. The Hallsville Vortac HLV. Apparently that's an airport. Got a window cleaning and custom exteriors place as well. Back over a little further to the east of Hallsville. Also, here's the latest NATOcast outlook for tomorrow, which I entirely agree with. I think we are going to at least get a enhanced risk for strong tornadoes tomorrow in southern Arkansas and western Tennessee, but I wouldn't rule out a moderate risk for tornadoes either for tomorrow. Again, we right now only have a slight risk, and I'm kind of surprised the risk is not higher. But I do think that we are going to see an upgrade to our risk at some point. So we could have 2 straight days of tornado outbreaks, and today's is currently looking relatively significant, even in southeast Missouri and Arkansas, Tennessee. Might even see some strong and long track tornadoes all the way back up into Indiana and Illinois. A little bit more conditional up there, but it looks like that's trending in that direction right now. Quick little update on our 70-mile-per-hour considerable severe thunderstorm warning in central Illinois. A brand new damage report has come out as of about 20 minutes ago. Social media is reporting 2 semi-trucks that are flipped over on Highway 155 near Hartsburg. That is due to this severe storm that is producing 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. It is currently approaching Hayworth, Leroy, Empire, Clinton, and just south there, Bloomington. If you are traveling along these interstates, it'd probably be a good idea to get off the road. Just in case there is in case you get hit by those strong winds. Might want to try to avoid this area too. Your Interstate 74 and Highway 51 there. That is our only severe storm currently in all of Illinois. But again, things will uptrend as we go over the next few hours. Still got plenty of strong storms southwest of Chicago as well. Lots of lightning. None of that is severe as of right now. And we've had plenty of severe weather in Ohio and even Indiana this morning. It's been mostly hail, but we've had a couple storms even producing damaging winds. We do have a storm near Zanesville right now approaching Cambridge in Ohio that's producing golf ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds moving to the east-northeast. And then also in Fort Smith, Arkansas, we have a more elevated supercell here that's approaching Fort Smith with mainly a threat for ping pong ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Still have a tornado warning ongoing. Again, northeast of Columbia, Missouri. This is in central Missouri. The rotation is the strongest on the east side of Hallsville. We'll be approaching Centralia over the next about 5 minutes or so. And just to the west of Mexico. Well, scan is a little bit stronger now. It's going to be right over Z Road near Old State Highway 124. Approaching Highway 22 over the next few minutes. Do you think the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area will be bad over the next few days? I think Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania will be mostly a threat of wind if we were to see really anything in the next few days. I don't even know if you're in a risk today, but if you are, it's going to be mainly a wind risk. And then after today, the threat is lower tomorrow and the following day. It'll be mostly wind every day, though. Low chance for an isolated tornado or hail. Looks like Pittsburgh isn't at least a marginal threat. Hey, Kristen for the super chat as well. University and public schools in Columbia, Missouri are sheltered. I don't think it's honestly that bad of a thing that they're sheltered because there is damaging winds in the area. We don't have a tornado warning right in Columbia unless you're on the northeast side of town, which there might be universities up there. The strongest rotation is now far to the northeast of Columbia, but we still have a storm behind that is producing damaging winds, and there could be even an isolated tornado in here. So, but our main risk for a tornado is now well to the northeast of Columbia. We still have a storm, though, behind that could do something. Huge shout out to DK with a very generous super chat. Put some W's in the chat for DK. Do you think any of these severe threats will affect the Gulf or Alabama Gulf Coast? I think Saturday and Sunday are the days to watch along the Gulf Coast. I don't think today, tomorrow are really that concerning for the Gulf Coast. I think it'll be mainly Saturday and Sunday, with hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes being possible. But even then, the threat will still be mainly to your north in the Dixie Alley. Got new velocities radar scan coming in. Hey, Robin, for becoming a member. Our next development area will be here in northeast Texas. Again, we could see an increase of severe weather over the next couple of hours. The Fort Smith storm definitely looks interesting. It has kind of a hook shape to it, but we don't have any rotation right now. Just south of Fort Smith, approaching Charleston and Lavaca, south of Alma. Storm is currently not a concern for a tornado, but producing ping pong ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. We also have a storm north of Fort Smith near Fayetteville that is producing a little bit of broad rotation near Springdale. That is moving towards Eureka Springs and Berryville, just off to the east of Interstate 49. We'll keep an eye on that storm. Tornado threat should gradually increase as we go into the afternoon hours. We're still around 11 a.m. and our tornado threat really takes off after about 1 o'clock this afternoon. But we still have a chance for a couple of tornadoes before that. Latest velocity scan on the tornado warning northeast of Columbia. Again, rotation is now well to the north of Columbia, even though we still have a storm back behind you. Strongest rotation is just east of Hallsville, approaching Highway 22, and it will be approaching Highway 15, just north and west of Mexico over the next few minutes. So continue to be in your safe place if you are in this tornado warning. How's St. Robert today? I think St. Robert, main threat will be between now and about 3 o'clock, mainly wind and hail. Thank you, Christy, for the super chat. And I'm talking about St. Robert in Missouri. Do you think I should be up late in Dallas-Fort Worth tonight? You don't have to technically be up late. Just make sure you have ways to receive alerts, because the problem is we're going to have severe weather, more than likely in Dallas-Fort Worth late tonight. It would be after like 2 to 3 a.m. Like, we're talking really early morning, basically, tomorrow, or overnight hours, if you want to call it that. In Dallas-Fort Worth, with mainly a large to very large hail threat. Damaging winds and an isolated tornado can't be ruled out, though. All right, and our strongest rotation right now is approaching Highway 22, just to the south and east of Centralia, going towards Thompson. Rotation right now is not currently, going towards Centralia, Missouri, but you still want to be in your safe place. The worst of it will be crossing over Highway 22, pretty rural areas here of Boone and Audrey counties. And then after that, it'll be approaching Highway 15 just to the north and west of Mexico. Malino, Hollinsville, and Skinner are also in the path of this. The tornado warning now no longer includes Columbia, so if you are in Columbia, Missouri, you can get out of your safe place. But you still got severe weather in your area. Damaging winds and a tornado possible label are on the severe thunderstorm warning here. Still something you want to keep an eye on. Is it supposed to hail in St. Louis? There's a chance that you could get a little bit of large hail in St. Louis. I'd say the wind threat is more concerning. But very large hail is a possibility. Just make sure you protect your vehicle just in case. Our very large hail threat is going to be really out of any of the initial discrete cells that we see fire off. And right now, we are likely at least going to see some scattered storms in and around St. Louis around 1, 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Look at this back up in Indiana, too. This is interesting. The latest ARRR model run is showing multiple little discrete cells up here, even into central Indiana this afternoon. We'll have to keep an eye on that. No problem, lovely. Appreciate the super chat. Still have some broad rotation east of Springdale in Arkansas. This is tracking towards Eureka Springs and Berryville. Still watching the storm very closely for a potential tornado risk. The rotation's right now near Highway 412. It's going to be going towards slightly more rural areas of Arkansas, but again, this has been an area that's been hard hit by tornadoes over the last few weeks. We had a bunch of tornadoes on March 14th in this area, and even we had, a lot of big wind and hailstorms even recently, back on Sunday's severe weather event in this area. So it's an area that's been hard hit by severe weather recently, but this supercell here is definitely one that's a little bit more concerning. We have to keep a close eye on it. We do have a big storm right now that's just south of Fort Smith. Again, this has been elevated, producing hail and wind. I'm not seeing rotation, despite it looking kind of crazy on radar. If that does change, we'll obviously let you know. The warning here is still for ping pong ball-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Going towards Lavaca, Charleston, Dyer, Alma. You're all in the path of this. Okay, rotation has uptrended a ton over the last few minutes. Look at the velocities now. Much stronger rotation east of Centralia here, northeast of Columbia, Missouri. Tornado might be trying to drop right now, approaching Highway 15. That is a fully rain-wrapped area of rotation, too. We may have a tornado on the ground with this. The velocities have intensified a lot over the last couple minutes. So, again, there might be a tornado. We are further away from the radar site, so correlation coefficient will not update nearly as quickly, since we need to see debris thousands more feet off the ground. But this is going to be approaching right now the Doggy Doos Economy Metals Incorporated and Highway 22 discount near Thomas Martin Contracting and Liberty Church. If we have a tornado, it's approaching the Liberty Church right now. Which, again, we don't have a debris signature quite yet. but the velocities are pretty strong. This will also be approaching Highway T, which once it gets there, the Dinosaur Fun is there. I don't know what that is. Apparently it's a fun place. And then there are a lot of farms in this area. So if you're in like a mobile home or an RV park or something like that, you're going to want to make sure that you are, either in a ditch or in a sturdy structure, as we may have a dangerous tornado in progress. The velocity is again much stronger here over the last few minutes. For perspective of where we are right now, again, far west of St. Louis, south of Quincy, northeast of Columbia. Is where we currently are at. Thank you, Five, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. I'll have another radar scan here in just a moment. The closest camera to this is bottom right of your screen, just a FYI. That's going to be back down to your I-70, though. You're just tuning in. Possible tornado right now in progress. West of Mexico, east of Centralia, northeast of Colombia. Just got a new radar scan coming. I just missed it. Velocity should update here in a second. And the latest scan still showing a couplet. Again, we may have a tornado. We have not had a debris signature yet. If we have a tornado, again, it's going to be approaching Skinner and Highway T here. And then also approaching Highway 15 going towards Malino. But there could be a tornado. Again, it's really over kind of just some farms right now, so we might not have any significant debris being lofted up by this if there is one. But the velocities have been pretty strong here for the last few minutes. They have weakened a little bit on this latest scan. We'll see if that trend continues. Thank you, Mitch, for becoming a member. The severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for Columbia has now ended, so we no longer have a severe thunderstorm warning there. Fort Smith storm, still a lot of wind and hail. And then we've been watching the storm east of Springdale over the last few minutes. Gonna wait for the velocities to update here. We actually have a little hook developing on this cell just to the north of Hinsville. See what the velocities look like. And today's environment is very favorable for tornadoes. Even right now, we still have a favorable environment, but it's going to really increase later today once we start to have daylight heating kick into gear. The rotation on this storm east of Springdale may just be enough for a tornado warning. Velocities have been coming together here over the last few minutes, going towards Eureka Springs and Berryville. See what the next radar scan shows, but I would say this could get tornado warned. Let's look at the echo tops on this. This storm's pretty big. The echo tops are estimated around 50,000 feet, so it's a pretty tall thunderstorm here. Just sent some photos on Twitter of the hail in Ohio. All right, I'll check it out. This is from Mike Smith in Thornville, Ohio. This is over in Thornville, Ohio. It's a full bucket of hailstones. It's literally golf ball sized hail. I don't know if this was a bucket that was used for golf balls at some point, but it literally looks like a bunch of golf balls here in this little bucket here. So they weren't kidding with the golf ball sized hail there in eastern Ohio. Free golf balls? Yeah, those are free golf balls until they melt in like 1 hour. Unless you put them in the freezer. Just saw a wall cloud in Fayetteville. I live here. Actually, I'm curious. I don't know if there's any cameras here, but I'm going to check real quick. I know there are cameras in Springdale, but at this point, the storm's moved out of Springdale. Double check and see. Well, there is a camera. This is the Arkansas dot camera at Sonora at Beaver Lake. And we are looking at the storm at the top of your screen. This is the storm. Looks like there is some spin there. It's kind of the area that we're looking at right here. It's looking westbound on the highway. This is the only camera in the area, I'm pretty sure. It's on Highway 412. It's right about here, so it's not really looking the right direction. The storm itself is now a little bit further north of Highway 412. Velocities haven't updated, but we'll go back to that in a second. Tornado warning in Missouri. The rotation on this has been broader over the last couple scans. So we may have had a tornado there for a couple minutes northwest of Mexico and east of Centralia, but it looks like the velocities have been weaker over the last few scans, so I'm not nearly as concerned about this storm. But if you are in this warning, just continue to heed the warning, stay in your safe place. In a few minutes, this will be approaching Perry, Missouri, eventually going towards Center, New London, just to the west of Vandalia and west of Curryville. We are expecting rotation to stay strong, or at least strong enough to keep a tornado warning here for about 10 to 15 more minutes. And then after that, we may get a new tornado warning. We'll have to wait and see. Perry will be the main location on the track of that soon. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning northeast of Springfield, north of Lebanon, approaching the north side of St. Robert as well, mainly a damaging wind risk. There is a little bit of rotation as well that's embedded in this storm north of Lebanon near Highway 5. That'll be moving towards Dixon and Iberia. And then we also just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Fort Smith, or just outside of it, for Alma, Mulberry, Ozark, Charleston, Lavaca as well, west of Coal Hill. They'll be for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-size hail. And then the northern storm right now in Arkansas, moving towards Eureka Springs and Berryville. There is still some rotation on this. Again, I don't know if this storm's going to do it. I still feel like we're a little too early for discrete supercells like this to produce tornadoes that are like long tracked or strong. But there is at least still some rotation here. A little bit, lots of lightning as well. Continue to stay in your safe place if you're in this area, as damaging winds and large hail are likely. Could even get a brief tornado out of this as it moves towards the Missouri and Arkansas border. Do you ever talk about good weather on the stream? I mean, we can. What good weather do we want to talk about? Let's go over to Amarillo, Texas right now, where it is sunny skies, breezy winds. It's beautiful out here. It's dry. The dew point is 5 degrees and the temperature is 52 degrees. It's a nice spring morning out here in the Texas Panhandle. And also back up in Nebraska. I don't know if this is nice, but it's 40 degrees and cloudy. You're welcome. That's the nice weather that we got today. Thanks, Shelly, for becoming a member. I'm gonna be honest, there isn't really much nice weather to talk about. I know people like always tell me like, hey, you need to talk about nice weather sometimes, but like there really isn't that much nice weather even happening today. You'd have to go like maybe, I don't even know where you would go for nice weather. I have to go to like Jamaica or something. There's almost no states in the entire country that don't have a risk of at least storms today. Like if you look at the entire country, we at least have a general risk outline for thunderstorms in every state unless you're in Oregon. Yeah, Oregon is the only state, and Rhode Island. There are 2 states today that don't have a chance of thunderstorms. 2 states, that's it. Every other state has a chance of storms. Unless I'm missing something. No, or actually, yeah, Delaware. Okay, we got 3. New Jersey might be 4. Okay, maybe 4 states that have no chance of seeing storms today. And our high risk, obviously, in the Mississippi River Valley. My next live stream title, it's going to be Nice Weather, live in the United States. We're only talking about nice weather, nothing else. I'm being warned that you should not drive to Canada either, because apparently there's snow on the ground like everywhere. Cole, you don't necessarily need the jet stream to be overlapping the high risk. That's not necessarily what's needed for high risk. There's a lot of ingredients that go into severe weather. All right, we still have rotation on this tornado warning near Malino. I'm guessing they're going to issue a new tornado warning here shortly for Santa Fe, Strother, Perry, and Victor. The rotation's still strong enough, I think, for a new tornado warning, so we'll probably get one here in a second. Give me 1 second. I got to get my food. Be back in 1 second. All right. Latest radar scan still showing some rotation approaching Santa Fe. We'll eventually go towards Perry. Love this channel. Appreciate it. I'm really hoping this, like, again, for those that don't already know, I'm still in college for meteorology. I graduate here in like 3 weeks, but I'm really hoping this summer I'm able to, like, actually do a lot of upgrades to our channel. Like, I think there's a lot of things that need work on our live streams. Like, I think they're good, but, like, I think there's just so many things that need work. Like, our overlays, I think, are kind of eh. We need to also get all, like, the traffic cameras into one thing so we can just show them on stream at any given time. And also, I want to hire some people to do some stuff, so I think we'll be increasing our stream quality by like tenfold this summer. Is there a reason why these... Why every time I get DoorDash, I swear I never get a straw. At least I have backup straws. Alright, the tornado warning has actually been canceled. I don't understand that. Or actually, it still says it's ongoing, but on this, for some reason, it says it's over. But the pink polygon's gone, and there's still rotation here. I got a McDonald's straw, but it's like broken. I don't know why we don't have a tornado warning on this. It's still rotating. All right, straw number 2. This one's good. Thank you, Sandy, for the generous super chat. Thank you for always keeping us on our toes and staying up to date. Much appreciated. I appreciate you. Thank you. I don't know why we don't have I don't know why the tornado warning isn't here. AT Rumor for the super chat. Tomorrow and Saturday look like prime chasing days compared to today. I agree. Tomorrow looks like a big day. Like, I don't know why we didn't at least get an enhanced risk of severe weather for tomorrow, but I mean, nonetheless, tomorrow it does deserve attention. I really think we're going to see a few strong and long track tornadoes, pending that the forecast doesn't change. I do think it's in play tomorrow. Right now, we just have a slight risk of severe weather in place, but this is the area that I do think that's in play. Like, this entire corridor right here. We could see some strong and long track tornadoes. And even elsewhere, we could still see damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes. But, like, that's the main corridor. So, I'm personally a bit surprised that we do not currently have at least an enhanced risk, but I bet by the time 12:30 hits, we will. And for those that are wondering what tomorrow might look like, again, this is might, not guaranteed, but right around 5 o'clock, the HRRR is showing multiple supercells here across central and southern Arkansas. All of these which would be rotating, producing hail and potential tornadoes. That's just a general look at what we could be talking about tomorrow. Emily, our threat in Clarksville, Tennessee is not until like after sunset. It'll be mostly wind and a tornado risk as well. Again, with the Chicago hype. I don't think there's any hype for Chicago. I don't think Chicago is really going to see a whole lot today. I think it'll be just some wind and maybe an isolated tornado in those areas. We did have a severe storm near Bloomington, which actually caused quite a bit of damage by the looks of it. We have more damage reports in Lincoln. 2 power lines are down in Lincoln, and also a roof was ripped off the Eaton manufacturing building. As a significant storm came through there, we still have a large area of strong storms that are currently ongoing back over in and around Chicago. The Fort Smith storm is still producing some large hail and damaging winds. And then we are still keeping an eye on the storm that is off to the east of Rogers, Arkansas. This is going to be going into Missouri here soon. Velocities have been a little bit stronger. They did add a tornado possible label to this storm. So this might be the next one to really watch for here as it continues to move towards Branson. I legit cannot believe they did not give me a straw for my food, or my drink. Taking a shot every time you say Fort Smith. I have not said it that much. Fort Smith is just a big town that's being impacted by that severe storm. I guess that's 2 more shots. Are we getting more storms in Arkansas? There will be plenty of storms this afternoon. Again, we're kind of live early because there was a lot of stuff happening near the beginning of this stream with our overnight storms that continued into the morning hours. But again, our most significant severe weather is from about 2 p.m. until about 12 a.m. That's basically the time frame. So we are going to be live that entire time pretty much with severe weather coverage, talking all about what's happening. Again, it's going to be a long day. If you are new to the channel, please make sure that you are subscribed. Click the red button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon as well so you're notified with the latest live streams and updates. We are going to have a marathon of live streams over the next few days. Starting today, running all the way probably through Sunday. I don't see a day where we will not be live on this channel. I legitimately think we're going to be live every single day. I also think that, today we are going to have a tornado outbreak. I think tomorrow we could have a tornado outbreak. I don't know about Friday yet. Friday is kind of a wild card. I don't think we have enough data about Friday, but pretty much every day here for the next, or at least today and tomorrow, have a pretty high likelihood of having tornado outbreaks. These are your significant tornado parameter values over the next few days. This begins with today. Again, notice how the values are very elevated, especially along the Mississippi River Valley today. Late tonight and early tomorrow morning, the values are mostly along a boundary where we're really not expecting a whole lot of storms to fire off in these areas. And then this is Thursday afternoon. We're expecting right along this boundary the potential for strong tornadoes. It's a little bit more of a conditional risk, but it is becoming more likely that we are going to see storms there, mainly in southern central Arkansas, southwest Tennessee, northern Mississippi, northeast Texas. On Friday, our risk will be mainly during the afternoon and evening, I think, in this corridor. So southern Missouri, east Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana in the path of that. And then Saturday, we're probably going to have another outbreak of severe weather in the Dixie Alley, and as well as the Deep South, with damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes being in play. Again, we have a risk of severe weather every single day. It all begins today with a large high risk of severe weather in place. This is the highest level risk you could possibly get from the Storm Prediction Center across the Mississippi River Valley in Kentucky, Illinois, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Missouri. Enhanced risk goes from Michigan back into Texas. And we also have a slight and marginal threat that goes from the Great Lakes back into South Texas. Our slight risk for tomorrow includes areas from Texas back into the mid-Atlantic. And then on Friday, we once again are right back at it. From the Midwest and Ohio Valley back into the deep south, or not deep south, sorry, the Southern Plains. And then on Saturday, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather in place in the deep south and also in the Tennessee Valley, where more damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes will be possible. And then lastly, on Sunday, this will probably be the last day of severe weather that we have until we are done with severe weather for probably multiple days. Quick update on Ohio. I know we haven't really been talking much about Ohio, but generally speaking, if you're over in Ohio, it's mostly wind and hail right now. And it's honestly mostly hail. We don't really have a whole lot here in terms of a tornado risk. It's all elevated storms for now, but anywhere south of Cleveland back through Parkersburg, and be ready for some large to very large hail and potentially a little bit of damaging wind activity. I'm not really anticipating this area to see much other than that, at least for now. Again, later tonight or later this afternoon into the evening, that's when we're expecting the severe weather to really ramp up, with damaging winds and tornadoes being possible in and around these areas. That tornado warning has actually, I think, been canceled now. I know it still says 1 on the right. We're going to keep it on until the warning officially ends in a minute. So we'll be back down. Oh, there you go. So we have no longer any tornado warnings in effect. Back down to just severe thunderstorm warnings. And this is the one storm in northeast Arkansas that has a chance of maybe trying to produce a tornado. No problem, Rachel. Appreciate the super chat. I can help you out there in Dallas. We do have a new mesoscale outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. This is across southern Missouri and as well as northern and western Arkansas. The potential area of discrete supercells as the boundary layer continues to destabilize. A greater tornado threat may develop. So this is over the next couple of hours. A increasing tornado risk is becoming more likely in this area. And also, our tornado risk via NATOcast. This is their latest NATOcast outlook. Have a little 45% area in southeast Arkansas today, and even a 30% back up in Illinois and Indiana. A long day is ahead. Long days ahead. Hey, Chief, for becoming a member. Yeah, NATOcast is an experimental tool. It's not the Storm Prediction Center. It's just it uses a bunch of computer models kind of to determine what our tornado risk could be. It's actually a lot of the time it has been accurate. It's not always accurate, but it's been accurate a lot. All right, guys. So here's the plan. The weather right now, it's not crazy. We still have warnings, but it's nothing. We don't have any tornadoes right now. Let me try to figure this out real quick. So my current plan is that we are going to be live throughout, again, most of the afternoon. We're going to be probably live again here in about an hour or so. What I'm going to do is eat and, just save my energy for the big outbreak. We're going to have a lot of storm chasers coming online here pretty soon as well. With this major tornado outbreak that's expected. So I'm gonna eat while we don't have any tornado warnings. There's nothing concerning actively that's happening, so there's no reason to panic. Mostly just wind and hail right now. If you're in a warning, obviously stay away from windows. But my plan is that we're gonna be live again here in about an hour or so. I'm gonna schedule our next stream for 1 o'clock, but again, that is subject to change. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel first off. So subscribe to the channel so you are able to see our next live stream. Click the bell icon as well so you're notified when we go live. Everybody that's in this stream right now, we are going to all be redirected to my next stream. So you're able to click the bell icon so you're notified when that stream starts. So all you're going to do is just stay on this stream, and you'll be redirected to that stream, and we're going to start that up in about an hour or so. I'd rather be live when we have significant severe weather happening, rather than being live for currently pretty much nothing. Again, there's not really a whole lot happening right now, so you're all going to be redirected to that stream in just a second after I can figure out how to do that. But Central Time, by the way, we're talking about Central Time, not Eastern Time. So just stay here for a second. You'll be redirected to our next stream. It'll start in about an hour or two, give or take. It might start a little bit later than that, depending on when storms start firing up. I'll go live when needed, though. I'm going to go live. If there's a tornado warning and it looks concerning, we'll go live. All right. So subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon. Make sure you're following me on Facebook, Twitter, at MaxVelocityWX. Also, please make sure that you join our Discord server if you're not already. We have a big weather community on there. Feel free to join our Discord server. The link is in the description. And also, don't forget to check out our new merch drop. We have our Supercell merch out. Top link in the description below at shopmaxvelocity.net. That's one of the best ways to support what we do here on this channel. So I would appreciate if you guys check that out. Thank you to anybody that became a member or donated at all. You guys really help out the stream a lot. Again, we'll be back here in about an hour or two, maybe sooner. Stay on this live stream so you're redirected to our next one so you can get the notification. All right, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back in about an hour or two for tornado outbreak coverage. And I expect the weather to be a lot crazier in a couple hours compared to what we've seen here just over the last 3 hours. All right, stay safe, and we'll be back here very soon.